Research makes us feel like we're doing our take. So if we can put our little piece of the puzzle in it, I would do it over and over again. Because I don't want another family to have to go through what we're going through. Seeing the research team keep going all night makes me relieved. I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I saw a meeting going on. And I was like, oh my god, no one sleeps here? Which is fantastic because they are literally trying to find a cure 24 hours a day. They're not willing to give up.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time on a Wednesday, March 22nd edition of the show. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you over the next 3 hours. We're all in the Family Leisure studios on this Wednesday, and got some Grizzlies tonight, but no Grizzlies last night. Tiger season over, so no games that we watched last night, except, did y'all tune in for the World Baseball Classic?
I watched the Schwarber at bat, and that was it.
Really? So you didn't watch Ohtani versus the last three batters?
I forgot to go back to it.
Yeah, well, it was the story of the sports world was Ohtani coming in.
3 million American viewers.
That's impressive. That's very impressive.
I just heard Colin Cowherd say that's more than the NBA averages for first-round NBA playoff games. Brian, I thought baseball was dead.
I've been told that
Jay Morgan,
times.
The news of baseball's death has been greatly exaggerated, hasn't it?
No one told Japan, I guess.
No, just American viewers. And then you go to Japan, you said
94% of televisions were at least for a minute tuned into that game.
94%. You can't get people to agree today's Wednesday in a 94 percentile.
You can't. It was,
and I think it will be good for the sport. But I've heard people all day today say that. I agree with that. I hope so. But how will that redound to me?
Yeah.
Does that make the rooms at the Lowe's cheaper in St. Louis? Bet not.
No.
Does it make 2 behind home plate cheaper in St. Louis?
No.
Bet not. Is that 6th inning Coca-Cola any cheaper?
No.
Bet not.
But I mean, I'm just curious.
So does it draw fans to Lone Depot Park in Miami? I bet not.
Probably not.
So it's going to be good for the owners and for Park Avenue for MLB.
Yeah, right. But I wonder how much of that is going to roll over to the regular baseball season, or how much of that was just, Team Cuba, Team USA, Team Puerto Rico.
Well, we love nationalism worldwide. We're not the only one.
Yeah.
Look, people around the world have seen what soccer for a long time, long, 80 years, tapped into with the World Cup and the off-year stuff.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, Jay, who was the Marlins pitcher that was pitching earlier in it? And
Pablo Lopez
for Venezuela, and they said it's the first time he's pitched in front of a crowd.
They made the same joke about Sandy Alcantara.
Did they? All of the Marlins
Any
pitchers.
Marlin player that played in that ballpark,
they
go, that's the first time they've seen a crowd there. And unfortunately, it's true.
The sad thing about the Marlins is so many of those people, nobody's really from Miami.
Yeah.
It's hard to have that even in the Bronx or in Queens or in St. Louis or Houston or Atlanta in the metro area there. Those people, and I was so against expansion to the 2 Florida cities back when we did it. And I said, guess where I was, Bryant?
Where were you?
Right here.
Yeah, right here. Always.
On these airwaves, I said, we've got baseball in Florida.
Yeah.
It's called spring training.
So you didn't want a team at all in Florida?
I didn't. And
wow.
I've said for years, I thought with what the Rays attendance, what those numbers look like every year, that should be contracted. And I'm just the worst guy on earth to some for that. But when are they? They're not excited about this. level of success that they've had sustained. They talk about that ballpark and its location. Okay, well, maybe one of these days they will remedy that there. I'll bet you after the honeymoon period's over, it won't draw any better.
No, I don't think so. What were you about to say, Jay? About to say something.
Oh, Wayne Huizenga buying the team, former owner of Blockbuster, and they have a great
Former Dolphins owner.
Great documentary about Florida Marlins getting baseball down there back when they got it. And Wayne Huizenga. The whole thing was funded by Blockbuster. Brett, you'll love the Marlins after you watch this. I'm telling you.
Well, I remember all that well. Jay Morgan, he even was going to get big in the bowl business and cranked up the Blockbuster Bowl. Inaugural game was Alabama against Colorado. Alabama was real good. Colorado was good. That was the McCartney stretch. Well, he was going to do it all in sports, and the Marlins would play their home games at the Dolphin Stadium, and for those playoff and World Series run years, they would have 75,000 there.
I love Pro Player Stadium. Whenever I see it, the only place you see it now is in pictures or all the modern day video games for baseball still have Pro Player Stadium on there. You can't beat it. I know it was terrible for baseball, but I love it.
Hit the Google. That stadium has been named everything. It's even been Dolphin Singular Stadium, Dolphin Stadium, and it's been Dolphins Plural Stadium.
Oh, wow.
It's been everything. They even tried, after the Blockbuster Bowl failed, the Micron PC Bowl.
Interesting.
Arkansas went down there in one of the more dreadful performances ever and got beat by North Carolina down there in the 95 season. They've tried it all on that property.
It originated as Joe Robbie Stadium.
Okay, and tribute to.
Then it was Pro Player Park. Then Pro Player Stadium. That's how I remember it finally. It's Pro Player Stadium. Then Dolphin Stadium. Then Landshark Stadium after the Jimmy Buffett.
I thought after Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, that's 6. I'm counting at home.
Sun Life Stadium. And in 2016, it became Hard Rock Stadium, which is what it is today.
8 total.
That's insane.
Opened in 95.
87 as Joe Robbie Stadium.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Because they were there when they won both World Series. Marlins 2-time World Series winner.
Isn't that crazy?
And have never won a division.
Isn't that wild? It really is insane. Think about all the historic franchises that do not have 2 in the same time span that the Marlins have. It's crazy.
And won it with 2 legendary baseball men, Jimmy Leland and Trader Jack McKeon.
Yeah.
They're quick to get rid of both guys, too.
Oh, yeah. They win it in 97.
That's right.
Opening and then had fire sale. Got rid of. That's how the Cardinals got Bobby Bonilla, wasn't it?
That's exactly right. They literally got rid of the entire team, and truthfully, did the same thing in 2003. And the last sale they had a couple years ago did the same thing again.
Oh, they can do the fire sale.
No one does the fire sale like the Miami Marlins.
Not even the Oakland A's.
Not even though it's true.
And Charlie O'Finley could do a fire sale, but that year on opening day, so they're defending World Series champions, and the public address announcer doing the players, out to the line. I love opening day, and the ceremonial red, white, and blue bunting out, and every crowd, every park's field, and he's introducing the starting lineup for your defending world champions. Opening day third base starter, former LSU quarterback Josh Booty.
And no relation to John David Booty, I'm imagining?
Yes, he's of all the Booties, yes.
Really?
Yes, all the BOTYs. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's the whole Booty clan.
Nothing like an unrecognizable opening day lineup the year after winning the World Series.
And they finished about 40 back that year.
Yikes. Well, it happens.
It does.
Turns fast, but that's what happens when you have a fire sale. But Team Japan beat Team USA last night on the back of Shohei coming in the 9th inning, and they got a double play, and then he struck out Mike Trout to win the game.
Teammate gets teammate.
Teammate gets teammate. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of chatter about that in the Angels locker room.
But I think good for the sport.
I hope so.
I wonder how much shelf life and really staying lasting power it has, but good, and to see Manfred down on the field with the medals afterwards. And today, Rob Manfred, about what he does best on the fly. We're changing some of these rules. that we've had for the last month at spring training.
He realized it had been too long since he had done something with baseball, so he had to just on the fly make a change so that people would talk about him.
And you know the move they're going to make one of these days, and that's when I spontaneously combust.
What is it?
Re-entry. Player can go back in. You're really not out.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
With baseball, you can't.
That's a good point.
One of these days it's going to happen. I thought for sure it was going to happen around the COVID games.
When everyone's out with COVID, and so you only have a limited amount of guys, just let them come back in.
Probably, I think you're right, never. Because if it didn't do it when they resumed summer of 20 to empty stadiums.
Yeah, when would they do it?
In that limited year, then if you don't do it then, maybe that is a never.
Yeah, you're right.
That's good. I won't have to spontaneously combust.
I hope it doesn't happen just for that sake. But in other news last night, the Grizzlies did not play. They played tonight against the Houston Rockets, but Sacramento in action last night, and they lost to the Celtics, I believe. So now
I waited all night for that game.
That was the late night game.
What was a late one?
I think it was the only later game than that was the Thunder game, which Thunder beat the Clippers.
I got Kings Celtics on NBA TV.
Yeah. But the Kings now 43-29, so 2 back in the loss column to the Grizzlies.
Got a little working margin.
You feel good right now if you're the Grizzlies. I mean, we talked about.
Remember when we wrote this season off?
What was that? Last week?
It wasn't too long ago.
It seems like it was right then.
And it looked so very gloomy.
Well, there was just so many unknowns. Teams seemed to be going in the wrong direction. You didn't know what was going to happen with Ja Morant. Steven Adams still out. Brandon Clark injury. There's just a ton of unknowns. Now with Ja back, you feel better about where this team is right now. The recent winning, 6 of their last 7 games. I think in their last 10, 6-4. So I think with what you've kind of learned in the last week, you got to feel better about it. But I don't blame. I think everyone was kind of on that same page 2 weeks ago, a week ago, saying kind of who knows what's going to happen.
Always darkest before dawn, isn't it? In sports and in a lot of other things. And one great of many great things about sports is you always have tomorrow. Well, tomorrows are starting to run out.
Yeah.
Is now that the Grizzlies are down to just 11 games left to play. Are we still writing off catching Denver? Is that still out?
I'll write it off.
Yeah.
I'll open up my pen right now. I'll jot it down. I'll write it off.
Formally written off?
That's right.
All right, in the East, are you writing off Boston catching Milwaukee?
No.
I'm setting you up for something. It was really dastardly of me to do this.
No, I don't think so.
Well, they're only 3 behind in the loss column, and that's all the Grizzlies are behind Denver.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's just a different scenario, though, for me.
I agree with you, and I set you up, which was very mean of me. And
cruel thing to do.
I thought you'd walk into it. I would have too.
But he played you, Jay.
Why are we so quick to write off Memphis making up those 3 games and not Boston, or for that matter, or Philadelphia that only trailed by 3?
For me, I would write off Philadelphia for catching either of them. For me, it's because the difference in the first place in the Eastern Conference has been one incredible Bucks win streak, where the Celtics consistency has taken place over however 60 plus 70 games at this point. They've been consistent at that level. Now there's only 11 games left, and so that's a big number, but I can't write the Celtics off because of their ability to win a ton of games in a heartbeat, whereas I think the Nuggets and the Grizzlies, if anything, the Grizzlies have been trending in the wrong direction. I just haven't seen them be able to make that jump. That separation seems to be fairly consistent over the lifespan of the NBA season.
See, I thought I had just lured you right into my web, and I did, and then you devoured me with a great answer.
You forgot who you're talking to.
That's
Jay Morgan Harder, the NBA savant.
I don't know, but I reject that moniker. But no,
you just spun that web around me.
Like a basketball on his finger.
But, I mean, the Celtics have dominated the East all year, albeit for that 20-game win streak the Bucks went on that has propelled them to first place and kept them there ever since.
Who wins the East?
In the playoffs?
Who represents them in the NBA Finals?
For me, it would have to be the Bucks and Celtics, but I think it'll be a bumpy road to get there. I don't know who I would pick between those two teams. I think the most important position in the NBA right now is center, and the Bucks have the most dominant one in the sport. So I would have to say the Bucks.
I also heard Colin Cowherd say this today. The postseason championship teams are not usually decided by guards being your star. Steph Curry, a little bit of an exception in this Golden State, and Klay Thompson, more guard than anything else. But usually it's a big man. And Milwaukee and Boston and Philadelphia, they have that. One of those three will not make the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a really good team. And there's good teams in the West, but that top three in the West, Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, aren't like that.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
Jinx.
Yeah, they're really not, though. I mean, those three teams, you can make an argument. Nuggets are great. You can make a coherent argument that those three teams in the East might be the three best teams in the NBA.
Oh, absolutely.
You could say any one of them is the best team in the Eastern Conference too, and I wouldn't bat an eye at you either. It's incredible, and I even am not. Obviously, you only have one of those teams can make it out, and those are the three I would. But I can't even write off the Cavaliers or the Knicks either. They're going to give whoever they play in the first round, second round, whatever, a heck of a series.
Yeah. And the media will just love the Knicks being in it.
Well, it's their year, Brett. It's always the Knicks' year.
Says the guy wearing a New York hat, but nonetheless.
Same building.
Yeah.
The Garden.
Everything happens in the Garden in New York.
Most famous arena.
That's right. That's what they announced before the game, right?
I've got a great New York Knicks book, and the name of it is When the Garden Was Eden.
I've heard of that book.
Wow.
It's by
Harvey Arrington.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Interesting.
I'll bring that like I did the Chamberlain book, and y'all split it.
I get that one.
Yeah, because I got the Chamberlain book first.
Oh, did you?
We
Good.
switched after you left.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So I'm in the middle of reading that. But I last thing I want to say before we get to top and not top, I do think this kind of last stretch for the Grizzlies is favorable to them because outside of the last 3 games, you only have 2 more road games. And we've seen how well they've played at home. If you can get Ja back, I think that's more favorable when you talk about kind of trying to catch the Nuggets in that sense. But we'll just have to see, and we'll get more into some Grizzlies talk
A lot
later
of emotion tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. With a credential on, I'm not going to be standing and cheering, but if I had a ticket, I would. If for no other reason, just humanity. Don't you want him to be okay?
Exactly. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Kind of see, I know there's been a lot of
if you're in that building, you're a fan of what he does.
Oh, of course.
So, yeah, you're going to cheer.
Yeah. And I think there'll be a lot of excitement. We talked yesterday about the standing ovation, everything he got when he came to join the team on the bench. So we'll definitely talk a little bit more of that later. But let me set up today's show before we get into top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, we teased it yesterday. We're going to go through and list our best players from every Sweet 16 left. So a lot of players. It was very hard. Okay, you got yours all written down. I got mine typed up. So it was difficult to kind of limit some of these schools down.
You got an old typewriter out?
No, just a laptop.
The ribbon and everything?
I wish I had
did.
a typewriter.
You did it.
That's what I did.
Good.
I'm laptop Jay Morgan's typewriter. So we'll do that at 3:30. 3:45, we'll get back into the Grizzlies conversation in their game tonight against Houston. 4 o'clock, Vince Ferreira is going to join us from WNML in Knoxville to talk about those volunteers and what they've done through the NCAA tournament. We might also get a question or two in as they've started spring practice over in Knoxville with the football team.
We think he will be at the Garden. Hope it's Eden for him.
Even better. At 4:30, I'm excited about this. Antonio Reed, a defensive back for the Memphis Showboats, is going to join us.
DN, isn't he?
Defensive back.
Defensive
Safety,
back, okay.
Yeah, so he's going to join us to talk about the team. And coming to Memphis, he's a local guy, played at South Haven High School before going to Nebraska. So that should be a good conversation with him. 4:45. We'll do big number of the day. At 5 o'clock, we're switching it around a little bit. We're going to talk some more Grizzlies in that segment, a little bit of what's trending. And then at 5:30, we had to move him down a little bit because he's getting ready for the Sweet 16, doing some press conferences. But Kevin Sweeney from College Basketball Central and Sports Illustrated will join us at around 5:30 to talk what's been going on in college basketball. And at 5:45, we'll wrap it up like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But we're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Preseason patio and pool sales are going on right now, so buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. Pool season, it's just around the corner. Buy now to get ahead of that summertime rush with the early bird pricing. Free layaway and special financing are available, so be ready to enjoy your backyard as soon as spring hits. And mention this ad to get half off both delivery and installation at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
And back to the college basketball tomorrow night.
Yeah.
First game tips at 5:30 our time tomorrow night, and have those games, and then same on Friday, then down to 8, and then down to 4. And next week we'll be talking about Final Four in Houston. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
My top story of the day is the Grizzlies back in action tonight against the Houston Rockets. John Morant back in the lineup. It'll be interesting to see if his name's called as a starter or off the bench, coming in to get some minutes like he said he wanted to do. I don't know how they'll kind of go about that, but we'll see here in a couple hours. I think these are both two games that a lot of people think are extremely winnable, so you could take that win streak to 5 games. It's currently at 3 games, 6 of your last 7, so things seem to be going in the right direction. We just talked about we're kind of on that final stretch of games, so it'll be nice to kind of see them finish off strong over what could be a up and down last stretch.
I'm right there with you. My top story, Grizzlies with first of 2 over 3 nights versus the 18-win Houston Rockets. Grizzlies win, a couple of teams lose, and a playoff spot can be wrapped up tonight. Well, we knew that. That was a foregone conclusion. The Grizzlies were going to the playoffs this year. That was really decided, or I think most people expected it, on opening night. The Grizzlies, like the Tigers, though, must at least match last year, and that means win a home first-round playoff series. And the Tigers were unable to match last year, or they're going to have criticism. Tigers didn't win an NCAA tournament game this year, and the criticism, I don't know that it's been heavy, but I don't think it's been unwarranted. Same will apply for the Grizzlies. If they don't at least get past or to where they got last year, I know I'm going to be critical, and I think others should be as well, because that first round series, maybe not a complete gimme 4-0, 4-1, but it should be won. If for no other reason, we know games 1 and 2 and 7 would be played at FedEx Forum.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day is, Brett, you said we have to wait till tomorrow night for college basketball postseason action, but that's just not true. We've got 2 NIT games tonight, including Vanderbilt in the season the great season
anchor down.
They've had anchored down.
I
big
love
game.
when you say that kind of thing, Brett.
Exactly. A great game should be against UAB. Some Memorial magic going on again tonight for a shot to go to not the Garden, but to Las Vegas this year.
Oh, that's right.
For the NIT.
It's a shame.
We're all finding out this week. We're all relearning that they're back in Las Vegas. So I guess if you're into the NIT, that's tonight.
Boy, the poor NIT. It really has tried everything. It tried a red, white, and blue ball a la the ABA for a few years there. Huh. It tried those first-round matchups, like making sure people that normally wouldn't play each other, like Arkansas State and Arkansas, one of the great atmospheres I've ever been in at at Barnhill Arena, March 13th, 1987, no less, for that game. A great atmosphere. Often Memphis would get different matchups. One time the Tigers, even after leaving the Coliseum, had to go back to the Coliseum when the Pyramid was the home for the Tigers. It was booked, thinking had to go back and play a NIT game at the Coliseum.
Wow.
NIT's tried it all.
It was the first with the 30-second shot clock too, I believe.
Really?
They were the first ones to implement it.
And way back, Jay Morgan and Bryant, when it was never in my life, it was never superior to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
But 70, 71, 72, it was kind of co-equal. It was not superior. And then the UCLA dynasty and the TV deal going to Saturday, Monday. And the Tigers in 73, 50 years ago this spring, that was the first year that was a Saturday, Monday setup. It used to be Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon.
Back-to-back.
Wow. Yeah. And when it went to Saturday, Monday, and on NBC, kind of full coverage, that's when it started nuking the NIT.
I'm sorry, I also failed to mention you can watch your new conference mate Charlotte play in the CBI championship game today. And we talk about the teams you're losing. You could have potentially 2 championship teams joining the conference in basketball. 3 if you throw Florida Atlantic in there.
And we do.
That's right.
My not top story, and we do forgive. We don't forget, though, but we do forgive. I'm watching the press conference yesterday, rewatched it last night, and Rick Pitino really did look forgiven.
Yeah.
And I think he is, and that's with his family and with who he worships, and he is very devout Catholic. He even had a priest with a collar on the stage. I mean, Ole Miss didn't run a priest out there for Chris Beard, did they? I mean, but we do forgive. Will Wade's now working. I guess we should. Yeah. And if their family and their Lord forgives them, and they want to coach, and Rick Pitino said, I have to have this. And when he was saying that yesterday, I was thinking, nothing like he does, and certainly not the money that he's made. But I know where he's coming from.
Yeah,
we gotta have this, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he better value academics, otherwise they'll can him like they did Mike Anderson.
Sure,
which is awful.
There's precedent now. You have to care about academia as the coach at St. John's.
It's insane. In the world of college athletics.
He's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul.
That's bad.
Yeah, they got to settle that.
They really do. And I hope they do quickly.
Because they're not a finer person in the coaching racket than Mike Anderson.
That's right.
But we talked about this yesterday.
Nolan Richardson assistant as well back in his day.
Yeah, he was.
Played for Coach Richardson at Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have enough money.
They won an NIT. Mike Anderson was on NIT winner at Tulsa.
Yeah.
How about that, man?
Interesting. Good old NIT. This should be some fun games tonight. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to a break, and when we come back, we're going to rank the best players for every team in the Sweet 16. So from Alabama all the way to UCLA, we'll name them. That's next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I don't want to go to bed at night dreading waking up in the morning knowing that I'm going to feel like a rusty lawn chair getting out of bed and getting opened up and not being able to really move for a couple hours really throughout the day.
For former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter and those dealing with daily aches and pains, QC Kinetics regenerative pain treatments are a game changer, providing long-lasting relief.
Go into a specific joint, a specific region, and then help promote that healing process using your own body's mechanisms to heal. I mean, that's been something that's pretty powerful, and there's no surgery, there's no downtime.
QC Kinetics natural treatments help the body heal and restore itself. No more rusty lawn chair.
It's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
Pain relief the natural way. QC Kinetics. Call today for your complimentary consultation. Find out if you're a good candidate for treatment.
Call QC Kinetics 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
If this season your business has flourished well above your staffing plan, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the all-in-one hiring platform that makes it easier to attract, screen, and hire quality candidates from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Everyone's getting excited about March. Crazy.
Don't you mean madness?
No, crazy. You know the Crazy Coupe.
The Crazy what?
The Crazy Coupe. $71.99 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Not only do they have the best chicken wings in Memphis, they got 27 crazy flavors to choose from. You can even buy their crazy sauce and seasoning.
That sounds delicious, but what's crazy about the Crazy Coupe?
Their prices. Right now, you can get 3 whole wings or 6 party wings, regular fry and drink for $9.99.
Now that's a crazy good price.
I think the wings are so good at the Crazy Coupe, they'll change the games in March to March Crazy.
That's crazy enough. It just may work.
The Crazy Coupe, $71.99 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Family owned and operated, and coming soon, a second location opening up on Ridgeway just off Poplar. The Crazy Coupe, with 27 crazy flavors to choose from, you'd be crazy not to visit the Coupe.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and we've got 4 Sweet 16 games tomorrow night. Starting at 5:30 on TBS with Michigan State versus Kansas State, ending at 8:45 with Gonzaga and UCLA. But today...
Very funny. That used to be TBS's tagline. I knew that would stop you in your tracks. I apologize. Keep going.
What was the tagline?
Very funny.
Oh, so you said their tagline because it's on
very
TBS.
Funny.
Gotcha.
Huh. Yeah, zinger.
TNT, we know drama. But I don't think any of the games are on TNT.
Nah.
Anyway,
are we
going.
Done with True TV?
Yeah, I think True TV's over with that
just
the
first.
When do we check back in with True TV?
Oh,
Next,
Impractical Jokers is going on. It's a great, fine program.
Yeah, their last guest was Kesha.
Oh, well, that's a good question. Probably not till next year.
Next March.
Next March.
No, they have some baseball playoffs, don't they? Or did they? They used to have some.
Turner does have the rights to some, but I don't think they air any on there anymore.
Just do that on TBS.
Okay.
We'll have to find out together.
I guess we'll find out in October.
We'll all miss True TV, won't we?
No,
like you said, Impractical
I'm
Jokers,
still tuned in all year long.
It's a good show. It's like the only thing they show on that channel.
So we want people out there. Maybe you don't want to do all 16, but for the local teams and maybe a favorite other team, we want yours at 901-360-8255. I went in my order of how I ranked the teams yesterday. That's how I went in it. Y'all can go in any order you like. There are a couple. How many do y'all think were slam dunks? You didn't even have to think about it. Don't go to any numbers. Don't go to any list. You say Michigan State basketball, and what comes to mind?
See, I only had 2 of those. I only had 2.
I had 4.
And and you know which 2 they are?
Who?
The 2 that there was like no names for, Princeton and FAU. The rest of them I wanted to make an argument for everybody.
So you had a Michigan State debate?
Well,
Zach Randolph?
No.
Zebo.
No,
Jared Jackson.
He is on my
McKay
list,
Cleaves?
though. He's on
Xavier
my list
Tillman.
as well. I wanted to make a list of all the people because I love naming names. So, for
Yeah.
Michigan State, obviously there's one that stands out above the rest. But I wanted to name some more names. So I have a full list of naming names here.
Very good. San Diego State. Did you have any debate?
I didn't.
Again, I named names, but there was one that obviously stands out above the rest.
My 4 just moved right on. It was just word association. You say Houston, Michigan State, San Diego State, and Princeton. I didn't even have to think about. I mean, just no list, no debate, nothing.
Looking at
Princeton, I had the same one as you, I'm sure, then, because that was one I had one name for.
Looking at my list, the schools that I didn't even have to look: San Diego State, Creighton, Kansas State, Michigan State, Texas.
Kansas State, huh?
Kansas State.
I smell
UConn. I never looked up UConn. That's a 6. Wow.
I have a feeling I know who Bryant's Kansas State is.
Yeah, you definitely do. And you probably know who my UConn is too.
Oh, no, I don't think I do.
If you thought long enough.
I thought my UConn was pretty easy. All right, let's go. Who wants to go first?
How are we going to do? Are we just going to run through our list, or are we going to just do one?
Let's go with team, and everybody name their player.
Brett, how about you start for us today?
Houston.
Go ahead. You want to?
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, Hakeem.
Will be in 100 years.
I also have Hakeem Olajuwon, but in the interest of naming other names, I also wrote down Clyde Drexler and Elvin Hayes.
Yeah, well, they weren't bad.
But
Rob Williams wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's another good one. Hakeem Olajuwon, though, obviously stands out.
Rob Gray wasn't bad.
Rob Gray, that's my time. Played against Rob Gray. Well, sort of. I sat there and watched.
You watched it play.
He was. I had a friend of mine that was the proverbial 12th man on the team.
Right.
Practice player type. Great guy. And we're playing in a golf tournament one time, and we go in like at the turn, and one of the waitstaff people, somebody said, you know, he played basketball for the Razorbacks. He said, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. He said, let me go sit down. Maybe you'll recognize me.
That's
when I'm seated, then people remember me.
That's right. That was my type of playing.
That's hilarious.
All right, who's next?
San Diego State.
Well, everybody Hakeem?
Yeah. Everyone Hakeem.
Oh, unanimous. So that was one that was really easy. That's great.
For San Diego State, I put Kawhi.
I also have Kawhi Leonard, but in the interest of writing down names, Jamal Franklin I wrote down too, and Malachi Flynn, two great San Diego State players. That's a good one. But Kawhi's obviously the
Jamal
one.
Franklin, former Grizz great.
Former Grizz, exactly why I wrote him down, Brett. That's exactly right.
Former Grizz great, no less. I have a former Grizzly on my list, but it wasn't Jamal Franklin.
As do I.
Jay, pick a team.
Xavier.
Former Grizzlies, James Posey.
I also wrote down James Posey.
Luther Rackley.
I wrote down James Posey and David West. And then I also wrote down Byron Larkin because I have a theme with the Larkins coming up soon with another team we're going to do. But yeah, but James Posey and David West stand above the rest.
And James Posey, I'm going to say third and final year at the Pyramid. Late November game, maybe like November 30th. Late November game, but early in the year. And it was the night that really crystallized to me a lot of people. And I'm not saying that at one time I probably wasn't in this camp. I probably was. That criticized the NBA. Well, I wasn't in this camp because I did watch the NBA even when we didn't have a team. And we talked the NBA on these airwaves even when we didn't have a team. But I was one of those that thought they don't really play hard to the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. They don't really play hard till March. I'm at a game in late November, second quarter, start of the second quarter, loose ball. James Posey went after that loose ball. He dives for it head first like you're diving into a swimming pool. And I thought, that's crazy that they don't hustle, that they don't care, that they don't try. People that say that either predisposed to not like the NBA or don't watch.
And then I said to you earlier when you told me that story, Brett, that, that guy's hustle was apparent, a huge part of the 2006 championship team in Miami as well, for that same reason.
Big part.
That was, one of my favorite, probably my first favorite player when I was a kid was James Posey. I loved him.
Yeah.
Brett, you want to do Arkansas? This is a good one right here,
Go
Arkansas. Ahead. I want to say Joe Johnson.
No doubt their greatest pro. It's unarguable their greatest pro.
A great one.
But in the NCAA tournament, I think Joe was only on – I don't know if he was on a team that won a game.
I don't think he was.
In 2000, they were knocked out by Miami. And did he return in 2001?
No, he was in the NBA at that point, wasn't he?
Did he even come back for a sophomore year? Then I think they went up to Boise and lost in 2001.
He was drafted in 2001, so he did play.
Okay,
he did play.
And they
in
lost
2001.
in Boise to Nebraska, maybe. Help me.
I'm looking. Hang on.
I can't remember. You're Arkansas, Brian.
Who was your Arkansas?
I ain't got to it yet.
Okay, so I wrote down Sidney Moncrief, but I also want to put.
Can't argue with it.
After watching Oklahoma City last night, Isaiah Joe is also a name I wrote down.
Just because you got excited.
I got excited about Isaiah Joe.
Mine's easy. I love Sidney Moncrief. He was the first big modern star with the triplets that Al McGuire dubbed the triplets with Ron Brewer and Marvin Delph in the Basketball Hall of Fame with that number retired by the Milwaukee Bucks. But at Arkansas, he cut the nets down one year, Sweet 16 as a freshman, cut the nets down as a sophomore, lose in the finals as a junior, then turned pro. Corliss Williamson, not even close for me. And that's leaving out Memphis and Todd Day, who is still all-time leading scorer at Arkansas.
A great pro, too, Corliss Williamson.
Sixth man of the year and won a title with the Pistons.
Georgetown was who they lost to in 2001.
Yeah.
A great pro. And the other name that I wrote down just in the interest of saying them all, Bobby Portis, too.
Great one.
Probably not in the same company, but an excellent college player and a great pro in his own right as well.
Melinda's brother went to Arkansas at the same time as Bobby Portis, and he has so many stories about Bobby and what they would do.
And
on
a champion
weekends.
in the NBA. And yesterday, when we were talking about Willis Reed, I should have told this story, so I'm going to get it in now real quick. Willis Reed grew up with Scotty Thurman's dad in Louisiana. And they may have even been teammates at Grambling. And I met Willis Reed out at the NCAA tournament, just big, nice personality man. And he was running the Nets then. And he was begging Al Thurman, Scotty's dad, don't turn pro. He's not ready. May really never be ready. But he did, and Willis Reed, as a friend, he drafted him and gave him a rookie deal, gave him a chance.
Wow. Dusty Hannas you could also put for
I'm not going to do that.
Arkansas. How about Creighton?
I mentioned him yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
And I think had 24 rebounds in an NCAA tournament game against the Tigers. Paul Silas.
Has to be Paul Silas. The only other two names I could even think of.
Dougie McBuckets.
Kyle Korver and Dougie McBuckets.
Doug McDermott's mine.
Kyle Korver was a great college player, too, and a great NBA
Can we call
player.
Kyle Korver Kyle McBuckets?
It doesn't work the same way, I'm afraid.
It really fit. Kyle Korver 3.
Oh, KK3.
Well, let's go with
They're getting close.
Yeah.
That's right.
Might get in trouble there.
That's true. I want to hear Brian's Kansas State, so I'm going to nominate Kansas State next.
Michael Beasley.
Mitch Richmond for me.
Brett, if you I don't know if you have an Instagram or not. If anybody out there has an Instagram, follow Michael Beasley. He still posts videos of himself playing basketball every day. Guy scores more than any human on earth.
Really?
Absolutely.
Former Grizzly Michael Beasley too, wasn't it?
I don't think he ever played for the Grizzlies.
Cup of coffee?
Maybe.
Was he?
If he did, it was a cup
so.
of coffee. But I don't recall him as a Grizzly.
For some reason that.
No Grizzlies in his history. No Grizzlies in his history. But a guy that gets a perpetual bucket getter.
Love Michael
I also
Beasley.
wrote down both of those guys and Ronaldo Blackman.
It was Mitch Richmond won out over Orlando Blackman for me.
Princeton.
Bill Bradley. The senator.
Yeah.
Chairman of the Finance Committee.
This is an interesting one. Miami. The U.
Rick Barry. I said it yesterday.
I also have Rick Barry, but I also wrote down John Salmons, a great pro in his own right. Bruce Brown, a current pro.
Salmons was on the 2000 team that beat Arkansas in Nashville.
Really?
Joe Johnson was on, yeah.
Lonnie Walker as well, a current pro. And then I wrote down Shane
Lonnie
Larkin.
Walker played at Miami?
He did. And then I wrote down Shane Larkin as well because I was in the mood of writing down Larkins.
Tie it all in?
Yeah, tie it all together with Byron Larkin. And then Barry Larkin, probably the best pro out of all of them.
I want to hear your Florida Atlantic, Jay.
Oh, I said the current, John L. Davis.
John L. Davis.
Wow.
I was so impressed by watching that kid's film, and I also couldn't think of another Florida Atlantic player, so I had to say Davis.
Carlos Monroe.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either. You could be making up a name.
I didn't either until I looked up his stats.
You made up
today.
a name, didn't you?
I close.
How about Texas?
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
I also have Kevin Durant, but LaMarcus Aldridge was an excellent college player there too. And TJ Ford on those teams. LaMarcus Aldridge actually, I think, went further than Kevin Durant in the NCAA tournament if we're going by that.
Was anybody close to having LaSalle Thompson or Mike Wacker on that list?
No, all of the players I wrote down, Brett, were far
Ron
more
Baxter,
current than that.
Jim Crevox,
P.J. Tucker, Tristan Thompson, and Miles Turner too. Great player.
Oh, the old Southwest Conference.
Tennessee.
Bernard King.
I have Bernard King written down. I
didn't do much in NCAA tournaments, but
the other two I have, Allen Houston and Chris Lofton.
Chris Lofton's
great players.
Neither of them did much either, but
Allen Houston in a 3-point contest, I believe. Not that that's an accolade of any sort, but he was in one.
Love Bernard King. Have I told you all about the 5-team parlay Christmas?
Yeah, I love it.
I kid.
UConn.
Rip Hamilton.
Jay.
I also have Rip Hamilton down and Kemba.
Kemba's who I have.
I also wrote
both
Ray
MOPs.
Allen. Ray Allen I wrote down too. Ben Gordon and Emeka Okafor, who was a really good college player.
Okafor was MOP as well.
Mm-hmm.
With their fourth MOP was Napier.
Gonzaga?
Yeah, I had to leave Shabazz Napier out.
I went old school in Gonzaga, and I went John Stockton.
That's what I guessed for you. What did you say, Bryant?
Drew Timme.
That's what John Harden guessed for you as well. Wow, he nailed it. He nailed both guesses.
It really is Timme, isn't it?
I know it's Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison's good. I was between Adam Morrison and Drew Timme, but what Drew Timme has done for that program over this last 4 or 5 years.
They retired the headband, don't they?
I got to.
It has to go in the rafters, doesn't it? The kennel.
To.
Adam Morrison's got to be it for me.
Staple of that program.
But we know the indelible, lasting image of Adam Morrison, don't we?
Crying
and I like that he's laughing about it in the ad with Lily, the AT&T girl singing "One Shining Moment."
I also wrote Domas Sabonis down.
That's a good one. UCLA.
Lou Alcindor, the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, Kareem.
Has to be. I wrote Bill Walton down too, and Reggie Miller, and I had to write down Kiki Vandeweghe as well, and Russell Westbrook. And Kevin Love. All right, no,
we could go now until next week on UCLA names.
I ran out of room. That's the only team I ran out of room
Walt
for.
Hazard, Gail Goodrich.
Oh, I also ran out of room for Michigan State, too. We haven't done them yet.
Have we not done
Let's do it now.
Michigan State.
Michigan.
Magic.
I also have that. I wrote down Draymond, Steve Smith, Mateen Cleese, Jason Richardson, and Scott Skiles as well.
No Jaren on your list.
No Jaren on my list. I mean, well, he couldn't be put. Thomas wouldn't put him on the floor because he couldn't stop fouling.
Stop fouling. That's right. Brett, you said yours was Magic.
I think the last team we had is Alabama.
I took a powder. I took the easy route. Brandon Miller. And if it's not Brandon Miller, I think I would have gone Leon Douglas, maybe an Antonio McDyess.
He's on my list.
But I think Brandon Miller is it.
Bryant?
I put Colin Sexton just because I loved watching Colin Sexton as a young teenager.
No Gerald Wallace?
He's on my list as well. I also said Colin Sexton. I wrote down Gerald Wallace, Antonio McDyess, and I wrote down Robert Horry and Latrell Sprewell as well.
No Jim Farmer, no Mark Godfrey?
No Mark Godfrey, but that's a great one. I had to say Colin Sexton for me.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
No Rex Jones, Barrett Jones' dad, long-range shooter in the early 80s.
I should have wrote down Rex Jones.
You sure should have. You go back with the Joneses, don't you?
I do. I should have said that.
Well, that was fun. A fun little exercise. Hard to do. Took me a long time to come up with all the names, but we're late for a break. Let's go ahead and get to it. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Grizzlies and their game tonight against the Rockets. That's next on Sports Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Progressive presents an ad from Mom.
Hello? Is it on? Oh, okay. Bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive and get protection round the clock. Round the clock? Does this generation even understand what round the clock means? But I'm just saying, because don't come to me when they ask to do this over, because the kids won't get it.
Get round-the-clock protection when you bundle and save with Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom to make this radio ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB. 800-391-5063 for your free consultation, and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
Get in the game with DeSoto Auto Sales.
We're maniacs from all this madness, and if we're going to catch all these games, we need your help. So DeSoto Auto Sales has cooked up a 3-point plan to help you rebound from your old ride.
Step 1, pick any of our rides on the lot.
Step 2, pass us your old ride.
Step 3, we'll come in with the assist.
So if your old ride makes you feel like you're on the second string, it's time for a rebound, and we can get you in that ride of your dreams.
Worried about fouls on your credit report? The DeSoto Auto Sales credit approval process is a slam dunk. But hurry, this deal is done at the buzzer. DeSoto Auto Sales is the Mid-South's #1 pre-owned dealer, and we're not afraid to go into double overtime for you.
See all our rides at DeSotoAutosales.com.
That's DeSotoAutosales.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we wrap up the first hour on this Wednesday edition. And talked a little bit about it earlier, but the Grizzlies are back in action tonight against the Rockets in what they're looking to extend their win streak to 4 games. Ja Morant's going to return tonight. What do you kind of expect in terms of atmosphere tonight for the Grizzlies?
I think it'll be off the charts. I know there are a lot of tickets sold for tonight. If you don't have one, you better be calling somebody that can get you in, and that's phenomenal. And Monday night, the crowd was the same way. It's that way the rest of the year. And it's because of Ja Morant. It's because of the winning. But we finally have a bona fide superstar, ticket seller, and good team, and fun team, and winning team that can go a long way in these playoffs that are coming up. And we talked about it Monday with DeMichael Cole. This is go time.
Yeah.
And you overlook Houston tonight, then you've made a terrible mistake. And going out there tonight for the Grizzlies, magic number to eliminate Sacramento is at 10. To eliminate Phoenix is at 6. To eliminate the Clippers, it's 4. 3 to eliminate Golden State, Oklahoma City, and Dallas. In the right combination tonight, Grizzlies win, Minnesota Lakers lose, they're eliminated. They can't be in ahead of the Memphis Grizzlies. Can knock out the Lakers on the 22nd of March. You'd have signed up for that in the preseason.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. So, yeah, it could
maybe even our old buddies Minnesota we'd have signed up for it.
Definitely.
Remember we hated them?
Yeah.
Do we still?
If we get another series with them.
You got to hate them in the playoffs.
You got to.
Yeah, whoever's on the other side, you hate them.
Towel waving, trick whooping, and hating.
It's a rivalries are built.
It
is.
Out of that. But that team, that Timberwolves team's made up differently than it was.
It is. That's the reason why we're not going to hate this one
because there's no Pat Beverly.
Because there's no Pat Beverly.
He was the engine for that team in terms of the back and forth.
And Glue Lady.
Oh, I forgot about all that.
Did she make a playoff reappearance
the lady that chained herself
ladies,
to
right?
the
oh, that's right. One of them was a chain lady.
Chained to the back of the goal.
I'll say it again, and I know everybody's being extra cautious. Everybody's got a job to do. The people that do it at FedEx Forum, they're doing their job, and they do it well.
Mm-hmm.
But every pocket of my bag, it gets gone through, and they didn't find the handcuffs in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Well, different protocol.
And maybe
Minnesota,
it's just props to FedEx Forum. And
props to FedEx Forum for doing their job. That's right.
But I do. I mean, it does get a little tricky. They got the two lines for Tigers games, and I try to walk through one. They say, no, you have to walk through this one.
Every little zip pocket of my bag. And they're doing their job, and they should.
You got a lot of pockets on your
pockets on that
bag. Taking a look at it.
A lot of pockets. And I look like the guy that's bringing in handcuffs and glue, don't I?
Exactly. You're the problem.
That's it.
So they got to make sure they keep an eye on you. But I do think, 3 games coming up, 4 games really coming up. Houston, Atlanta, and then home versus Orlando. I think all winnable games.
It is.
But I do think 4 games that you can't overlook and kind of get behind the 8 ball. And these are games that you really need to kind of get the job done against for sure.
Yeah, and again, it is go time. It's separation time, and for the Grizzlies, a lusty 17 over 500 can match the season high number tonight of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night establish a new high water mark when a lot of us geniuses, me, had written the season off 2 weeks ago.
It's just heat of the moment, it was just what was going on. I don't blame you.
Well,
I forgive you if that's what you want.
I can take the
It's all right. But I think should be a good game to kind of get everybody back. Dylan Brooks suspended for tonight after the technical.
He'll get an ovation when he comes out.
Everyone will get an ovation.
But it's time to rally around the team, and it's just so good to be in this stretch for this team because even in all the playoff runs, we did not have the ticket sales, the density of attendance, anything like this. And for that on Monday night, a tough night for people going out. Ron Tiller used to have that great list of reasons why not to go to a Grizzlies game. And around spring break was one of them.
Yeah.
Used to really, really be challenged selling ducats at that time of year.
Yeah, so that is definitely a good thing. And the team is playing well right now, so hopefully a win tonight against Houston. But let's get to a break and wrap up this first hour. On the other side, Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville will join us to talk about the Volunteers and what they'll do in the Sweet 16 this weekend. That's next on Sports Time.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Hey Sports 56 fans, it's me, Johnny Radio. Come join me for a live remote at Town Village Audubon Park, corner of Park and Cherry, this Friday from 11 to 1. Come hungry, enjoy complimentary barbecue and all the fixins, and 2 chances to win 2 rounds of golf and a cart at Wedgwood Golf Course. We have 2 $25 gift cards to Neil's Bar and Grill, where the Fat Man rocks. We also have plenty of Malco tickets to win, gift cards to the new Sunrise Cafe East Memphis. So this Friday, 11 to 1, come join me for a live remote at Town Village Audubon Park.
Calling all the Mid-South. Bobby J is waiting for your call today to drive off in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2023 Kia Soul LX $333 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia K5 LXS $362 a month, $31.99 due at signing. And 2023 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive $381 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. And if you can't find what you're looking for, let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. Plus, Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold P7866 988, MSRP 22,945. K5 PG 200 400, MSRP 26,455. Sportage PG 107,225, MSRP 29,790. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Some listeners like you are experiencing firsthand the amazing pain relief from QC Kinetics. Even calling your favorite radio host to share the good news.
QC Kinetics. I had my right ankle worked on 4 months ago. Awesome.
That's great,
look
Mick.
at that,
man. Yes, they worked on my elbow.
Every day, the QC Kinetics medical professionals treat patients like Mick with the latest regenerative therapies using natural biologics concentrated right at the hurting joint. No surgery, no downtime.
I'm telling you, QC Kinetic is the way to go if you don't want to go under the knife and suffer for 3 months.
Yep.
It was very easy, as you well know, with your elbow.
I'm telling you.
guys are awesome.
Mick, appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the phone call. Really appreciate it. I'm so glad that QC Kinetics did some wonders for you. I mean, regenerative medicine, man, that's the thing these days. Living proof right there.
Call QC Kinetics now for your consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Spring is around the corner. That means the sounds of air conditioners cranking up will be in the air soon. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. This month only, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier AC unit. No gimmicks, just $1,000 off for the Choate's Early Bird Carrier AC Special. If your AC is in good shape, call us to get your $60 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC cleaned and ready for the warm seasons ahead. Choate's is here for all your cooling, heating, plumbing, air duct cleaning, and commercial needs. Call us today at 347-8086 to take advantage of these early bird specials. Or to schedule online, visit ChoatesHVAC.com. So turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you as we start this 4 o'clock hour, working to get Vince Ferrara on the phone to talk about the Volunteers and really an impressive run through 2 games as they get ready to kick off the Sweet 16 this weekend up in New York. I've really been impressed. I'm excited to kind of talk to Vince about this, just how down the stretch of the season, it was a lot of
we didn't trust Tennessee.
We didn't trust them. Offense wasn't working. They've really, through these 2 games, they've gotten it into games that they can win by holding those opponents in the 50s, and that's the type of games that Tennessee wants to be in right now.
If they beat FAU, this is unbelievable. Their easiest game potentially could be the game against Duke, because it was not easy against Louisiana.
It was not.
And
Especially late.
We'll see what they do with FAU as we try to catch up with Vince Ferrara in New York, covering the Big Orange from WNML in Knoxville. And he's at Madison Square Garden now, and we hope we can get we can crack the code there at the Garden. But for Tennessee, this is what they've wanted out of Bruce Pearl and other coaches. Yeah. Even Kevin O'Neill, Jerry Green, and for sure for Rick Barnes. The second round Rick stuff they were sick of.
Oh yeah. Well, and it really, I mean, because kind of going back to what we were just talking about, the disappointment, the can't trust Tennessee, the Zakai Ziegler injury going into the tournament. But they have found guys, key role players, to step up in every step of the way through these 2 games. And so it almost kind of feels like they continue to kind of pass those tests, and it really does feel like this could be a magical tournament for Tennessee.
And it's part of the pain of the Tiger opportunity that was lost.
Oh, yeah.
And this morning I repeated with Dave what I said Monday. I thought it was the worst Tiger loss in Tiger basketball history because what it prevented. I don't know who would have won between Memphis and Tennessee tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden, but I welcomed that matchup.
I would have loved it. I mean, it would have. I joked with my dad after the Florida Atlantic loss. What's worse, just having it over now or having to lose to Tennessee if that was to happen in the Sweet 16? Now, obviously, you want to make it to the Sweet 16. It would have been really fun to see, but it would have hurt if Tennessee had knocked you out. But I do think, those 2 teams, the matchup between Tennessee and Memphis this season would have been a fantastic game, I think.
Any Sweet 16 loss for most teams, maybe not for some that either are, they think they are, blue bloods, any Sweet 16 loss, it speaks for itself.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the matchup, some sting more than others, and that one would have, but think how good that win feels over that type. I just wasn't scared of anybody else in the rest of that East bracket potentially for Memphis, whether if Kansas State or Michigan State. I didn't. I welcome those, and now we will never know.
Yeah. Well, and the team I was really most scared about out of this region was Duke, and we saw what Tennessee was able to do against Duke.
I really thought that Duke was coming on.
I thought so too.
Aspect, and they really were never in that game, and it looked like quite a contrast. I know a coach is only as good as his players, but it looked like quite the contrast between Rick Barnes and very young, precocious-looking John Shira. He looks really young.
I didn't know that Rick Barnes recruited John Shira out of high school.
Well, it makes sense.
College basketball.
Out of Chicago, Shira was that big a prospect.
Yeah, I saw that over the weekend, and that blew my mind.
Now, I hope Rick Barnes didn't think he had a shot at him. He was Duke all the way. Was that when he was at Texas?
It would have had to be.
It would have had to be. Yeah. Waste of jet fuel.
Waste of time.
But Texas has the cash. We've caught up with our friend Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville. He joins us now, also part of the Tennessee Vol Network. He's in New York City. I hope he's enjoying it because big game tomorrow night for the Vols. Vince, good afternoon to you.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Yeah, the enjoyment hasn't kicked in. It was cool to be out there shooting a little bit of Tennessee's practice and just knowing that all the history on that court that I actually got to stand on for, a couple of minutes. Yeah. And that was when it really kicked in. But a ton of work. It's not like I'm lounging around, the New York City so far. It's just been getting after it. But we'll have a chance to get a deep breath here before long.
So many things about that building that I just love, and the few times I've been there, one, I love Penn Station right there by it. And, But another thing, when you go out there and you stand at midcourt and you look up, it feels like that ceiling's just right above the scoreboard. That's a real low hanging ceiling, and I think that keeps that intensity in that magical building.
Yeah, and it's an unusual feel when you go out there, and it's also, I've always thought it was on TV, and I thought it was being there. It's on the dark side.
Dimly lit, yes.
Yeah, and so that was something that struck me. And then, look, from like you see a lot of new buildings, how nice and modern and clean and all, have everything at every turn. This isn't like that. This is about the history of the building and being here a long time. So you got to kind of keep that in mind when you're walking around and everything looks really old. But it's about what happened where the fans are and in that arena and on that court that Reggie Miller, just throwing daggers into Spike Lee and then letting them know about it. With threes in the corner on his way back down the court. They're just, all those kind of things just kind of run through your mind with all the history in that building.
Yeah. Well, and with this matchup between Tennessee and Florida Atlantic tomorrow night should be a good game. We here locally in Memphis kind of got a glimpse of Florida Atlantic in that first round. But for Tennessee, I mean, how impressed have you been with what they've been able to do through the first two games? We were kind of talking about it before we got you on, just how the end of the regular season for the Volunteers, it just seemed like so much disappointment, so much we can't trust this Tennessee team. And then to come out and to play two games where you really kind of put the opponent into your style of basketball for Tennessee, kind of getting both of those games in the 50s and kind of a grinded out style. How impressed have you been with their play?
Well, certainly in the Duke game, there was a lot of conversation coming out with Tennessee fans and those that covered the team in the Louisiana game, how if they do that against Duke, they're going to get beat. And so they were talking about the things they didn't do well in that game versus getting to the finish line and just surviving in advance, which is what all you need to do in the NCAA tournament. So there was still that up and down, and honestly, there still kind of is. Do we know that they're going to play the same way against Florida Atlantic as they did against Duke? It's a one-game sample right now because that game, even though the style of play, and we'll get to that, I'm sure with your questions coming up, but. Even though that's what everybody's talking about, that's the style of play was the same as they've played. It's just they were so much better at playing without Zakai Ziegler than we had seen at any other point. Yeah. Other than the Arkansas game when he went down, that game, you didn't know if maybe it was a scare and you might get him back. So they were inspired in that one, but you didn't know long term. You hadn't come to the reality they were going to be without him. So, look, this Tennessee team, Bryant, was playing inconsistent before Zakai Ziegler went down. Yeah. They already had some up-and-down games. Then Ziegler went down, and you found out that he's out for the year. Then you really took the wind out of the sails of the fan base. And then we saw them, they housed South Carolina again, but then, the regular season finale against Auburn, they weren't very good. So, and gave up too many points. They weren't good defensively. Then they had the win against Ole Miss, and you thought, okay, maybe they're figuring some things out. And then they gave up a bunch of threes and a second-half comeback to Mizzou in Nashville, and then so there was a step back again. Then they were all talking about how we're still trying to figure out how to play without Zakai Ziegler. And then the Louisiana game, you're like, okay, well, still a work in progress, trying to figure that out. And then you saw the big jump against Duke. So we still don't know if this is the new Tennessee that's figured it out and can duplicate that and be motivated moving forward, or if it's still going to be the up and down that we had seen for a while now.
Vince Final Four will definitely speak for itself, but even to the Elite Eight, and that's farthest UT's ever gone. Bruce Pearl did it, lost to Michigan State, could be facing Michigan State and Tom Izzo again. Right. Elite Eight backs or Final Four backs everybody off of Rick Barnes. How much does the Elite Eight?
It's a great question. It's probably the mix that you would think, right? It's it will for some, but for others that are steadfast in their opinion that Rick Barnes is somehow in his, grandfather rocking chair, just watching and not doing anything on his retirement tour, which is silly. Then yeah, those people aren't going to change their mind. You do need a Final Four. And especially because for those that swear by Bruce Pearl, if you get to Final Four, now people can't say that Bruce Pearl did something that Rick Barnes didn't, or Rick Barnes didn't do anything better than Bruce Pearl. So I think that would be, even though he's not worried about that kind of stuff, I think that would silence a lot of those critics. Let me tell you real quick about Rick Barnes to show you that he knows exactly still. He's so dialed in and knows what he's doing. He told the team at halftime in Orlando against Duke, he said he put in some new zone offense in case Duke went to a zone, which they really hadn't done a ton of. Well, Duke did. They were protecting Jeremy Roach with his foul trouble. They went to a zone, and Tennessee was prepared for it. Kumwa, Phillips, middle of the zone, creating, shooting, driving, and they were really successful, and Duke had to get out of the zone. So that's something that they saw on the fly and made the adjustment, and Duke didn't have an answer once they got out of the zone or frankly, to anything Tennessee was doing in the second half, including that physicality. So I do think that each step helps them. Honestly, if they lose to Florida Atlantic, guys, it isn't going to – all those people are going to come back that maybe are just hanging out. They're going to come back and criticize Barnes. He does need – the farther he gets, the more people will silence it, but the Final Four – people won't have anything to say.
Yeah, I think you're right. But kind of going into this game tomorrow night against Florida Atlantic, I mean, talked about how we've really seen Florida Atlantic, and we talked about them a lot last week going into that game, but kind of what everyone says about them is they're a team that really relies on the three-point shooting. They got about 6 or 7 guys that really knock it down at a high clip. What do you think Tennessee needs to do tomorrow night to kind of limit that production from deep that kind of gives Florida Atlantic that edge? And then kind of, will there be some of that trying to play keep up? I know Tennessee at times this year hasn't been the best three-point shooting team. What are they going to need to do against that Florida Atlantic team?
Well, our first point first, we just got done a little while ago. We had 30 minutes in the locker room, which has been awesome in the postseason, that you get a chance to go in there and talk to those guys. You have access to everyone, which, as we know, covering football, forget about it. It doesn't happen. So that's been cool. That's been for the SEC tournament, NCAA tournament as well. You get some one-on-one opportunities, although there's a lot more media this time. But what Jemai Mashak and a couple of the guys are talking about was their guards and how quick, they're a little bit smaller, but they're really quick. So the perimeter defense is something that they really talked about, and keeping them from getting out in transition, because you saw FAU against FDU. I mean, that game was a track meet up and down, and they kept up with FDU. So the athleticism and the speed, they got to keep those guards in front of them. When Tennessee's been really good defensively is when they keep teams from driving on them. They did it against Duke. They did it against Alabama, and it really keeps their defense in place, and they can utilize their length and physicality when they keep everybody behind them. So that's the big point defensively. In terms of offensively, with the three-point shooting, the key is for them to play inside out like they did against Duke.
Yeah.
I mentioned how they went to the middle of the zone around the free throw line. They can create from there. That's how you beat a zone. FAU probably do a lot of man, but we'll see how much they switch their defenses. But the bottom line is Tennessee has to play inside out. And with Olivier Kamwa, who I've said all year is a game changer for them in taking them to the next level in the NCAA tournament, and if he plays that way, he certainly is, then that creates and makes it so much easier for the guards. And they're not shooting contested threes. They can now drive a little bit. You can do so much more when they play inside out the right way, and Kamwa is hitting the shots and being confident. So whether it's them playing against the zone or man-to-man, feeding the post, driving, they got to play inside out, and then you'll see them shoot a higher percentage offensively. And this team so often is connected. What they do on one side of the ball does impact the other. So if they're locking FAU down defensively, don't be surprised if, it doesn't happen every time, if they're now making a better percentage of their shots, not only just from three, but just in the game overall. That Tennessee needs some mid-range jump shots, Phillips and James and and those guys not just live on the three. That helps their percentage also.
Michigan State versus Kansas State will be the first game at the Garden tomorrow night. That tips Memphis time at 5:30, and then after that game, around 8 o'clock or so, will be FAU against Tennessee. Do you have any preference of the Michigan State Kansas State game, or are you going to go Coach speak on me and just take whomever the draw is?
Honestly, I had Kansas State in this spot. I did not Michigan State, but the Tom Izzo part of it is cool, so I wouldn't mind that. I honestly think we were talking about it on the long drive up. If I'm Tennessee, I might prefer K-State than Michigan State. Man, when Tom Izzo is the lower seed, he finds a way to have magical runs when his team doesn't have as much talent or doesn't have the expectations. Tennessee is a little bit that way too. That's another intriguing part of the matchup is Tennessee's better when they're the underdog, and that's gone now. And that was another topic of conversation with a lot of the players that I have. Yeah, beat Duke, and they were motivated by no one picking them. So can they keep that going against when they're the favorite now? So Michigan State, probably still, I don't know what Vegas says, but from a seed standpoint, they're not the favorite against K-State. So I kind of think with Izzo's experience, all that would be a classic coaching matchup. I might prefer to see them from a storyline standpoint, but from a matchup standpoint for Tennessee, might go with K-State. So I went both ways with the answer for you there.
And just never easy at this time of year. Yeah. I mean, just every game is a grinder, and you get to the finish and you advance and you're so happy. But last week in Orlando, we so badly wanted this to be Memphis and Tennessee meeting in New York. Did you hear any Tennessee fans expressing that they wanted that they wanted Memphis in New York City? Were they just worried about beating Duke?
No, really didn't hear that. And then obviously Kentucky would be another one. Kentucky would have been here if they would have beaten K-State. So that's one that I was thinking about is shorter term is Kentucky. And obviously, Memphis could have been here also. But no, we really didn't hear that. I didn't hear it. I'm not saying, that no caller on our station called in with that opinion. To me, that stuff just adds intrigue. Just like if Tennessee was to meet Alabama in the Final Four, I mean, yeah, let's go. Sign me up for that. And then if you had Arkansas and Texas on the other side, let's make all of America mad because the SEC is
an April Fools we'll never forget. An April 1, Vince, that would go down in infamy. I jokingly said, I just want the bail bondsman concession from Houston for that because between playing first Saturday and April with UT and Bama, and then for Arkansas and Texas, nothing gets Arkansas going like playing Texas in any sport.
Oh. It's beautiful the way it potentially sets up for sure.
Vince, you kind of mentioned it a second ago talking about how motivated the guys were kind of being underdogs in that game against Duke, and then you were talking about Kamwa earlier and how well he played in that game against Duke, being a guy that couldn't play last year in the tournament because of his injury. Do you think this team kind of has like a chip on their shoulder mindset going into this tournament with kind of how they finished the regular season, the injuries they've gone through, and kind of the way that the media and other fan bases has kind of talked about this team going into the tournament?
All the above, Brian. Yeah. Absolutely. All of those things. It's the people doubting them. They talked about it so much after the Duke game. Nobody believed in us. They were disrespected. In fact, word even got back to Rick Barnes. Not Rick Barnes because he doesn't have social media. He's not really paying attention. I mean, I guess he watches TV every once in a while. But they ran it back to him on nobody was picking Tennessee, everyone just assuming that Duke was going to win. So that kind of made Rick Barnes mad, according to his players. And so he used that to motivate his team and say, hey, nobody picks you guys. You guys can win. You just need to show these people that they're wrong. They don't know what they're talking about, these so-called experts. So he was on edge more than normal to his players, and he used it. So there's that. And then the question is, does that continue moving forward? And the players today said yes when I asked them about it. And then also there's the whole physicality aspect of it. Like, oh, they play dirty. They're Australian rugby team.
It was ridiculous. We know who led it to Sunday.
Oh my gosh, it's like all these people that are running with that narrative, they sound like they haven't watched Tennessee play all year.
They sound like crybabies, Vince.
Yeah, and some of the people that say that have seen Tennessee play this year. So it really was more, I think, an indictment on Duke not being able to adjust. And the players they were saying, you know what, we love that they're talking about our physicality. That's fine with us, and we're going to continue to show them regardless. And then the other thing is that motivates them is they have been through so much adversity, so many injuries, the inconsistency, and you can put it all together with the adversity. There's nothing. This team is hard. There's nothing that's going to be thrown their way that they're not going to be able to handle. So, they are motivated by anything and everything that has come their way, and now they feel supremely confident that down a man, without any supporters, they've got each other, and that's what they feel is all they need. And man, this is an experienced group too, so they kind of have a little bit of extra edge to them. And even the freshmen sound mature, and Awaka and Phillips and those guys. So, the opportunity to win is there already, but the motivation is pretty powerful this time of year.
Yeah. Well, it should be a fun one tomorrow night at the Garden. 9-seed Florida Atlantic versus 4-seed Tennessee at about 8 p.m. But, Vince, enjoy your time in New York. Enjoy the games this weekend, and let's do this again soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Anytime, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Vince. Maybe even next week if Tennessee got to the holy grail of college basketball, and they could. With a win over FAU, they're favored. They should win that game.
They should.
I mean, it will be heavy criticism if they don't. So second-round Rick was third-round Rick. If that's what's going to be said if they lose that game. And then the matchup between a first-year head coach and a college basketball Hall of Famer, the winner of that game awaits.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. I can't wait. But really, I mean, can you be a third-round Rick? If third round is Sweet 16, that's pretty good.
I think you could be in this era that we're in of everybody wants to win, and everybody's paying what they're paying, and by now they were expecting more than third-round Rick.
Yeah. I guess there's definitely an argument.
I yield to I think a lot of people are too satisfied with a little something. Maybe a little more than a little. Not a lot. I think a lot of people get very satisfied. I'll say it. Chris Beard next year at Ole Miss, with that kind of heat they had to withstand, with that kind of money they're paying, he needs to be in the NCAA tournament.
NCAA tournament or bust.
Chris Jans and Dennis Gates were in year one.
Yeah.
And why can't he do it?
That's true. And with kind of what the transfer portal is now, what you can do in terms of building a roster.
I mean, I think we settle and are a little too satisfied. I don't mean fire everybody either, but with that price, with that check, goes a little heat.
It's interesting for sure, especially kind of the landscape of college basketball right now.
Down at All-Star Chevrolet, you can walk through the lot down there and see all those pre-owned Silverados, Tahoes, even some F-150s, Trail Bosses, High Country. They've got them. If you want to order a brand-new Chevy truck or find one at All-Star, they have them. First exit into Mississippi on Highway 78, Kraft Goodman Road. Ask Kevin or Jeff about this week's great deals on all the new Silverados, financing as low as 0% and no payment for 90 days. Again, Jeff and Kevin, they want to thank all of you who brought your cars, trucks, SUVs to All-Star. They always pay great cash. They're still doing that, even if you don't buy a car of theirs. Even if you owe money against it, bring any car or truck to All-Star and get a big check today. Sweet spring deals on combo tire rotation, oil changes, anything in the service department. Always great deals on new tires or brake service. Call Sean or Jeff in the All-Star Chevy Service Department. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Collierville, Mount Moriah, or Bartlett. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's get to a break. When we come back, Antonio Reed, the defensive back for the Memphis Showboats, will join us to talk about the upcoming season and the USFL. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Titleist. Check out the new Pro V1 golf balls, designed for longer distance, more consistency, and unrivaled control. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and elevate your game with the new TSR Woods, engineered faster, longer, and straighter. Come in and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, unmatched service, unmatched expertise.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hey Sports 56 fans, it's me, Johnny Radio. Come join me for a live remote at Town Village Audubon Park, corner of Park and Cherry, this Friday from 11 to 1. Come hungry, enjoy complimentary barbecue and all the fixins, and 2 chances to win 2 rounds of golf and a cart at Wedgwood Golf Course. We have 2 $25 gift cards to Neil's Bar and Grill, where the fat man rocks. We also have plenty of Malco tickets to win, gift cards to the new Sunrise Cafe East Memphis. So this Friday, 11 to 1, come join me for a live remote at Town Village Audubon Park.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
I'm with John Virgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And I'm excited that we can bring on Antonio Reed, a defensive back from the Memphis Showboats. The season kicks off April 15th over at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Tickets are already on sale, so go ahead and buy those tickets and get ready for the Showboats to be in action. But Antonio, thank you so much for taking time out of the day to join us. We're really excited about the season. I'm curious for you, being a local guy, graduating from South Haven High School before going up to Nebraska. I mean, how cool is it for you to be able to kind of be part of the team that brings professional football back to Memphis?
Man, I'm excited, and I want to start off with saying I'm glad to be here on the talk show, and I'm glad to be back home. I honestly never got a chance to play in front of my home crowd in front of fans, so that's why I'm kind of encouraging everyone to kind of get out and go buy tickets. They're only $30 for season tickets, so I mean, if you want to come out and catch a game, bring your kids, you go ahead and grab those, and we'll see you guys there.
Really good value for that, Antonio, and we're so glad that you're part of bringing the USFL back with the Showboats playing at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. A lot of success a long, long time ago, but now you're part of the new era of it and coming home for you. You went to South Haven High School, but growing up in Memphis, did you play youth football, like, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old football in Shelby County?
Sir. So I played for the Whitehaven Mighty Mites.
That's great.
A guy named Dylan Mitchell. I think he's currently in the CFL, but he was with the Vikings for a moment. But, yeah, no, I started off in Memphis. I went to Ridgeway, Hickory Hill, and then finally went to South Haven and finished my career there.
So really the kind of the full circle for you from youth football back to playing professional football April 15th for you. That's got to be exciting.
Yes, I mean, it's one of the greatest trips I ever felt. Like I said, coming out of college, I was committed to the University of Memphis, and like the day before signing day, I committed to Nebraska and signed there. So I actually never got the chance to play in front of my home crowd, in front of Memphis, the fans I love. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get back to, and I'm excited to get ready and get going.
All right, we know how special Falls. I've never been to a game at Lincoln, but just watching that magical big red crowd, I think they would take a crowd to a game on the moon. I understand football season being exciting there. What were those Lincoln winners like, Antonio?
Ooh, I mean, so my first time visiting Nebraska, it wasn't the winter. It was a blizzard. I mean, I got off the bus, it was blizzard. I'm like, I never did this before. So I think that's what caught my attention first. Like, it was something different, something I never experienced. So you kind of just want to go run with it and experience those type of things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a cool experience. I mean, we know how big Big Ten football is up in that part of the country. But I'm curious for you, Antonio. We've seen a lot of these spring leagues start to pop up in the past. We had the AAF a while ago. The XFL has had a couple of runs now, and now the USFL. Mm-hmm. For you as a player, I mean, what was the draw to the USFL a couple years ago when it was first pitched to you to kind of go out there and try to get on a team?
Man, I think it was great leadership. It started off with a guy named Moose Johnson, worked his way down to Darrell. Then we got Trey Randall. They just kind of get things going, getting us where we need to be and make sure we're all taken care of. And if players have an administration that's actually looking out for them and has their best interests that can help them get to the next level and actually teaching them, then they're more liable to go behind it. I know some guys might have went to the XFL just because the Rock is there. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I chose the foundation. I feel like the USFL has a good foundation. They got Moose Johnson, like I say, he blocked for Edmund Smith, black for the Cowboys. So they just got those connections and that will to push you forward. So that's kind of what led me to the USFL.
And Antonio, you've heard it all your football life, practically from high school on. Every game, it's going on tape. That film's going to get around, and every game's almost a rehearsal. It's almost a job interview. And for you, I'm sure, like for other players, you got to be thinking, have a really good year, a really good spring in football, and just hope some NFL camp calls.
Yes, sir. I know it'd be if any NFL camp, call, it'd be great. But some guys never get to play in their hometown. So let's just say the Titans call. Probably make me smile a little more than a couple other teams.
That's right.
But that's definitely my dream, though. So, like you say, every game, every step you take, everything, your eyes are watching kind of on tape. So you just got to make sure you're perfect every play in and play out.
And you played last year in Tampa, is that right?
Well, we were all in the hub in Birmingham, but I was on the Tampa Bay Bandits team last year. That's correct.
All the games there. And this year, Memphis will host for the Showboats and will also host for the Houston game, and you'll actually be the visitor in a game at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Look, it's a brave new world out there in the football world, and we roll with it, and a lot of rules changes. What's the one rule change or different rule around the USFL you think should be standard across football, from youth football to junior high to high school to college and even in the NFL?
I got two things. One, the cameras and so guys can get more kind of out there and hit guys kind of with their social building. And then two, we're going to save the extra points. Guys can go for 1, 2, or 3, just to give guys that chance to catch up. Oh, and also they have a rule where you can, instead of kicking the onside, you can go for 4th and 12 and try to get the ball back. I mean, I think that's pretty cool as well. Just if you don't feel as much confidence in your kicker, you want to try to go for it with your offense, then go for it.
After playing football for as long as you've played it, do you think the sport of football, that it's trying to eliminate kickoffs?
I think they're trying to be more offensive based and protect the players. And I understand that, and that's good. But, some guys just want to play football at the same time. So, I mean, you got to think about all guys, not just the guys you're trying to protect. So,
and you poor defensive guys. There's never a rule that helps y'all, is it?
No, sir. There's never a rule that helps us. But, I mean, yeah, there are some rules. So they can't block and peel back for open spaces like
Well, they do. They just don't call it.
Yeah, they're not going to call it. But, I mean, hey, sometimes someone has to draw the short end of the stick, and it just so have to be defense.
And Antonio, I've said, I don't know why anybody in the world right now would get into the coaching business and want to coach on the defensive side, because all these colleges, high schools, everybody, they want to hire offense. They want to win the press conference with a high-scoring offense. It's rough out there on defenses.
Man, I agree, but I want to say this one thing. We got one of the better defensive coaches in the country, and with his scheme, his mindset, I feel like, we'll be a high-scoring defense. And that is possible. If you get the right defensive coaches, you can win every game on defense if you're high-scoring defense. The offense won't have to touch the field. So that's kind of what, we're shooting for.
And
if our offense score, that's perfect, but we want to score on defense.
And, Antonio, one common denominator. Now, you've got a really good one in Brady White, but a lot of these spring leagues, it's been a struggle. You watch these USFL games, and last year you watch these XFL games, and last year with the USFL games, it's a struggle at quarterback because it's just not that many people on planet Earth that can play it at that Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers level. So you're right, especially early, the defenses will be ahead of the offenses.
Correct. And then, like you said, we do have that stand-up guy, Brady White, behind center for us. He broke a lot of records here in the stadium. So, I mean, we kind of looking forward to that. I know fans going to come out and look forward to seeing Brady play as well. But at the same time, we got to hold our offense up.
Yeah. We're talking to Antonio Reed, defensive back for the Memphis Showboats. Their season opener just a couple weeks away on April 15th over at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. We were talking about tickets earlier. They're already on sale. You can get them for as low as $30. So some really great deals on some season tickets. And Antonio, you were just talking about the defensive coaches that y'all have with the Showboats this year and how excited you are to play for some of those. We talked a couple of weeks back with Coach Haley about the offense and kind of he wants to put up a lot of points this year in Memphis. But defensively, what should fans expect from y'all's unit?
A lot of hard hitting, a lot of 11 guys getting to the ball, a lot of turnovers. I feel like our defense is fast, physical, and emotional. We're going to try to keep our emotions out of the defense, but at the same time, I just want guys out there flying around. And if everyone is flying around and doing it together, we're going to look pretty good as a defense.
Antonio, I have to ask you about your beloved alma mater, Nebraska. Another coaching change. It's been a while since Nebraska's been able to have that consistent success, although I think when you were there, you played in a bowl game against UT, didn't you?
I played in the bowl game versus Tennessee against Alvin Kamara. Hit him a couple times. I played against UCLA. Kendrick Perkins and those. I mean, Perkins and those guys, the running back for them. But Duarte at receiver.
My question is can Nebraska ever get it back to that Tom Osborne level of winning?
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. And it starts with that strength and conditioning staff. I feel like, honestly, they came in and changed the team around. They came in, brought a lift called metabolic lift, and after that, I feel like we were stronger and faster, but at the same time, they still need to focus on more football aspects of the game.
And Nebraska,
I feel like they're going to get back there pretty soon.
And Nebraska was first. I mean, it's hard to believe. Once upon a time, a lot of coaches weren't that big on weightlifting and strength and conditioning, and Nebraska was the first to really have that strength and conditioning coach. Now everybody's got like 25 people on the strength and conditioning staff.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't even believe it. Most strength and conditioning programs, the guy that actually first started out in Nebraska. Alabama adopted the program, and everyone took on from there. But, yeah, everything originally started in Nebraska with the black shirts.
And you're really around that coach more than any other coach because he has you all the offseason.
Correct. I mean, we was getting in. It go from lift to running to recovery.
A lot of running.
Then you get some extra work in.
A lot of running. They love to run, don't they?
A lot of that going on.
Antonio, last thing for you. I am curious because you mentioned it earlier about how last year every game in the USFL was in Birmingham. So for a guy like you playing on a team that was a Tampa Bay team, what was it like playing every single game in one location and kind of having to deal with that, not travel anymore, but you're just in that one location?
I mean, it was a different experience for sure, but it's all about being a pro. Like our coach said, you practice like a pro, you play like a pro. You just got to prepare like a pro. And no matter what obstacles or anything happen in your way, you just midstream adjust and keep moving forward.
Definitely. Absolutely. But, Antonio, this was a lot of fun to catch up with you. We're really excited about the season.
Let's do it a bunch.
Over a couple weeks. So good luck this season. Yeah, let's definitely do it again.
Yes, sir. Just kind of like my number is, shoot me a text. We'll get with the media guys, and we'll get something set up.
We will, Antonio. Welcome home. So glad you're here, and thank you so much for your time.
All right, sounds good. It was good talking to you guys.
You got it.
Thanks, Antonio. Antonio Reed, defensive back for the Memphis Showboats. We already said it a couple times. Their season opener just a couple weeks away, and those season tickets are already on sale, and you can go get them for really good prices.
All right, I know how much you think of that Penn State helmet. And you like the Alabama helmet.
Oh, man.
Where do you rank the Nebraska helmet?
It's up there.
It's way up there.
Top 5 for sure.
It's way up. That red end, I don't care the struggles they've had, that red end. And OU's like that.
Mm-hmm.
And heresy for me to get ready to say it.
Uh-oh.
I love Texas's helmet.
Brett, we were just talking the other day about how Texas should be lucky we're even letting them in the SEC.
Yeah, almost like I had veto power.
It really?
I don't.
Maybe you do have a soft spot. We found out last week you have a soft spot for Tennessee. Now you might have a soft spot for Texas.
No, Southwest Conference kind of does it for me.
It happens.
But when they lose, I don't mind it.
Not at all. But let's get to a break. When we come back, it will be time for Big Number of the Day.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Are you looking to lease a commercial space for your business? Call Stephen Hoffman. Are you a landlord looking to have your space leased? Call Stephen Hoffman. Maybe you're looking to buy or sell commercial real estate. If so, you want a professional broker looking out for your best interest, and that broker is Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Stephen is a Memphis native who knows his market well and only works the commercial side of real estate. He works for a great firm that has been locally owned and operated in Memphis for almost 40 years. Whether representing tenants, landlords, or investors alike, you are sure to get great market analysis, access to on and off market listings, and a tough negotiator on your behalf. Call 901-761-5595 and ask for Stephen Hoffman. You can also find him on the web at MyersCRE.com. That's MYERSCRE.com. Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Representing your real estate business is his business. Call Stephen Hoffman, 901-761-5595.
I know you're thinking about pools and patios right now. Don't deny it. They're on your mind. So it's a good thing that Family Leisure is having their preseason patio and pool sale. It's like they're mind readers. You can buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. You want free layaway? Done. You want special financing? Done. You want to be ready to enjoy your backyard just as soon as spring hits? Family Leisure has you covered. Patio and pool season's not that far away. So now's the time to take advantage of this fantastic early bird pricing special. Now here comes the really special part. If you mention this commercial, you get half off delivery and installation. I'll let that sink in for a second. You heard me right, my friends. You mentioned this very commercial, and Family Leisure will give you half off delivery and installation. The preseason patio and pool sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event is on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Come test drive the all-new 2023 Outlander plug-in hybrid electric with 420 total range, 64 combined MPG, and 38 minutes best charging time. And you may be eligible for up to $7,500 federal EV incentive and $1,500 lease cash. Come check it out at Gossett Mitsubishi. Plus 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander with 3 rows of seating for up to 7 people. We Gossett at $499 a month or buy for $34,055. Looking for some peace of mind in your new ride? How about Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty? 2023 Outlander, $499 a month, or get 1.9 for 36 months, and test drive the all-new 2023 Outlander plug-in hybrid electric. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
Outlander PZO 12158 MSRP 34555 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
You like the movie?
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine now because people who have joint pain are getting real lasting relief without drugs or surgery. And I know firsthand because I'm a client. Hey, it's Greg Gaston and welcome to being pain-free. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting treatment. They use highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. If you have ongoing joint pain from arthritis or injury, you need to call QC Kinetics. Don't assume that steroids and surgery are your only option. Times have changed, and regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Discover this remarkable alternative that pro athletes have been using for years. Thanks to QC Kinetics, this amazing treatment option is now available for folks like you and me who are sick and tired of joint pain. Don't put this off any longer. Spring is coming, and you want to enjoy all life has to offer. Call QC Kinetics now at 901-445-1010. Get a free consultation with local medical professionals. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we wrap up this second hour. It's about 4:50, so you know what that means. It's time for Big Number of the Day.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
So I have two big numbers today. I'm pulling a Jay Morgan, and I haven't decided which one I'm going to pick. So, Jay, pick one or two.
One.
Shay. How do you pronounce it, Jay?
Shay.
Shay? I've heard both, but I like Shay. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last night scored 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists in a win over the Clippers. My big number is 40. Shai joined last night Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant as the only Thunder players with 40-plus 30-point games in a season. It's good company.
That is good company. For SGA, that's easier.
SGA.
You can't pronounce that wrong. It's
How many do you have?
letters.
Do we get to pick?
No. You don't get to pick.
Because you only came in with one.
No. I'm even better for you. My big number has 5 numbers in it. 25.
Wait, is that how you do it?
It is today.
All right.
25, 5, 50, 40, 85. So those numbers, there are only 4 players in NBA history to average 25-plus points, 5-plus rebounds while shooting 50, 40, 85% from the free throw line. Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and now Lauri Markkanen on pace to do it this season.
Lauri Markkanen mentioned with those names.
Isn't that great? That's really why I did it, because I'm so impressed by his game, how much he's improved since leaving Chicago. He always said they were holding him back a little bit, and he has thrived this season.
Used to be certified Grizzlies killer in Chicago.
Baby Dirk is what they call him, and he's starting to show it a little bit with numbers like that.
It sure is. And that list again is Durant, Curry, Bird.
Yeah, and Lauri Markkanen.
Wow.
Which part doesn't fit?
I'm afraid it might be Steph Curry because he doesn't get a lot of rebounds.
There you go.
My big number is 115. Of the 16 teams left, the team with the most NCAA tournament wins, 115 by UCLA. They're 1. Michigan State at 72 NCAA tournament wins. UConn at 61. Arkansas at 50. Gonzaga 43. Kansas State 39. Tied Texas and Houston 38. Then Xavier at 30. Tied again Bama and Tennessee. Then Creighton with 17. Princeton with 15. Most of those came in the 60s. Miami at 13. San Diego State with 8. And sadly, we know of the 2 wins for FAU. They were last week.
Little third Saturday in October rivalry with Alabama and Tennessee tied for NCAA tournament wins, isn't it?
Button heads right there at 25.
So you got to make sure you win more than the opponent at this point.
It's really hard to believe that neither one of them have ever been to a Final Four. Xavier's never been to a Final Four. They've got a chance. Of course, Florida Atlantic hadn't. San Diego State hadn't. Mm-hmm. Miami hadn't. Creighton hadn't.
It's the beauty of the NCAA tournament.
That's right.
It all could change this year.
And I said it this morning with Dave, I don't think they're going to win it. I don't. But if UConn did win it, and they quintessential basketball school, that would be their 5th title under 3 different coaches.
I was about to say that would be evidence that literally anybody could win a national championship at UConn. Not to diminish the coach. I mean, Jim Calhoun is one of the great coaches of all time. Not to diminish what they're doing at all. Just to say it's a lot of different coaches to win a championship at one school.
It's hard to do anywhere.
And before Calhoun, their basketball history, probably the thing they were most famous for was getting Chuck Alexinas to transfer from Kentucky.
I mean, what a player Alexinas was.
What a name.
And what a name.
What a name. Jay, you love the name, so I knew you'd appreciate that. But before we get to a break, I got to tell you a place where you can go catch the Grizzlies game tonight. We were talking about that earlier as they have the Houston Rockets tonight. But I've got the spot just for you. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley, right behind 117 Prime. Open from 4 to 11 Wednesday through Saturday and 4 through 8 on Sundays. Look, I know nobody likes to go to a loud bar where you can't hear yourself think or talk to watch a game, but that's the opposite of Bell Tavern. Start the night with a gourmet burger and one of their great cocktails in a quiet, dimly lit bar where you can enjoy a game at with your friends. And it's not just the burgers. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis and the coldest beer in the city. You know 117 Prime, just walk through their dining room and you're at the best bar in town. For more information about our friends at Bell Tavern, call 901-249-6580. That's 901-249-6580. Or go to their website, belltavern.com. But let's get to a break, and when we come back to start the 5 o'clock hour, we'll get back into some Grizzlies talk and some NBA talk. We've got a lot of games tonight as we get closer to the end of the season and the start of playoffs. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings & Grill.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Spring is around the corner. That means the sounds of air conditioners cranking up will be in the air soon. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. This month only, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier AC unit. No gimmicks, just $1,000 off for the Choate's Early Bird Carrier AC special. If your AC is in good shape, call us to get your $60 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC cleaned and ready for the warm seasons ahead. Choate's is here for all your cooling, heating, plumbing, air duct cleaning, and commercial needs. Call us today at 347-8086 to take advantage of these early bird specials. Or to schedule online, visit ChoatesHVAC.com. So turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And usually at this time, we talk to Kevin Sweeney about some college basketball. We're still going to do that today. We're just moving him down to 5:30. He's getting ready for the Sweet 16, doing some press conferences and all of that. He's got, a lot to talk to him about with the NCAA tournament, all the coaching hires going on, a lot to get to. Oh, even better. So it will be fun at 5:30 when we talk to him. But Grizzlies back in action tonight. We've talked in and out about it all day long, but we were talking over the break, and it should be a pretty good crowd. I think a lot of people are really excited about what this team's done lately, and especially with Ja Morant back. I think it's going to be a great crowd, and I think that's hard to do in a midweek game against a team that doesn't have 20 wins on the season.
Historically, it sure had been difficult at this point. And this year we know these back-to-backs, almost the baseball model. I'm okay by it. The Grizzlies have had some of it, been a part of it on the road as well. And we knew when this schedule came out, you're going to want Houston in back-to-backs in late March, and it looks a lot more simple. Mm-hmm. And now with the injury to Paul George, how about the next back-to-back with the Clippers on the 29th and 31st next week, a week from tonight, and then following up on Friday night against the Clippers? Jay Morgan, you preface it with you're scared of everybody. I was never scared of Clipper postseason. And a lot of people, and I think you were on blast about look out for them. I'm not. I'm not worried about them.
Certainly less so with Paul George's injury, which Shams reported earlier today. He thinks it'll be long-term, and it's unfortunate.
That's devastating.
Well, they really just said it's about 2 to 3 weeks, right? That's the latest update.
Oh, I hadn't seen that. Well,
so it sounds like it's better than what was originally reported.
That's good then. Either way, yeah, I mean, if they get healthy for the playoffs, I'd still be scared of the Clippers.
It's never 2 to 3 weeks, though.
No, it's not.
I mean, what Steven Adams was at one point, 3 to 4 weeks, right? So you never know. One saving grace, I would say, for the Grizzlies, one team that I predicted to make the play-in for a while would be the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they've now moved up to being in actual 7th place. Obviously, we'd still have to play in a play-in.
They didn't really want to either.
Anyway, yeah, you would think so. But if they do make that and they somehow work their way into being the 7th seed and would match up with the Grizzlies, Brett, we talked last week. You said somebody you talked to wasn't sure the Grizzlies could win a first-round matchup. I would agree with that, but if they could somehow match up with the Thunder there, that's a first-round series I think they would win.
That's right. That was 1 week ago that I did say that. I had somebody tell me that at the building one night recently, a scout out of town. He goes, I don't think there's a single team in the West. Well, that sure has changed, hasn't it? And now the idea of yet another 50-win season. Okay, won't match last year. Not getting to 56, I don't think. It would take just something really torrid. We're going to get to 50.
Oh, yeah. Which is great.
And that's kind of the NBA benchmark for most people.
Yeah.
Some dream of 60, and then you have Golden State and the Bulls do the crazy 70 thing.
Yeah.
I've got our preseason predictions out. And I had 56 wins, matching last year. That's not going to happen. You had 48.
It's not going to happen either.
That's kind of the low mark the rest of the way.
It is.
To only win 4 more times, I think they'll do better than that.
I think so too. What did Gabe have?
Gabe had 50.
Okay.
And it could land on 50. It was on a Wednesday. Barrett Jones jumped in, and he had 54. Could get there.
Could get there. It'd take a lot of winning, but could get there for sure.
Well, have to win all of them.
Yeah.
To get to 54.
That's true. So
or
maybe
10 out of 11.
10 out of 11. So maybe not. But still, I mean, it's going to be somewhere in that. I don't think it'll be as low as 48, but.
And that last road trip, what's going to be that motivation? Especially if 2's locked up.
Yeah.
Before you go on the road at New Orleans, at Milwaukee, at Oklahoma City. One fun thing about that time of year, it cuts both ways on the motivation front. What's going to be Milwaukee's?
Yeah.
New Orleans, out of it, another shutdown of Zion. And then the last game of the year, game 82 in Oklahoma City. How much are they into it?
Wait, did they report again that Zion – because I saw earlier today, I thought that Zion has been cleared for on-court activity.
He is. He's coming back now, but you let them be out of the playoffs
I see.
by game 80, and they could be back in shutdown mode. I should have clarified my
I still believe – well, I already missed one. I already missed one report earlier today, so I thought I might have missed 2.
It moves fast.
It does. I still believe the Pelicans can make will and could certainly can, but I think they will make the play in. That would be interesting. There was a lot you mentioned the Pelicans, and also that last game against the Thunder. If that's a game that decides whether or not the Thunder are in the play in, there's some motivation from those two teams for sure.
Yeah, but if the Grizzlies go into that game already having sewn up number 2, you could see the Memphis Hustle lineup.
Oh, yeah.
You could.
For sure.
Great minutes for those guys, too.
Minutes
Junior
they need.
Lofton gets a start, his first start of his NBA career.
Big body Roddy.
Bigger body
Lofton.
That's right. That is a small
Bigger
but big
body
lineup all at the same time.
Lofton.
Unfortunately, I guess Steven Adams will be back at that point, presumably. I'm not sure.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Xavier Tillman might have to start. Who else are you going to start?
Are you really betting on him back then?
No, I have no idea what his timetable
I'd
is
bet
at
the
this point.
no until I see him introduced.
Yeah.
I just know how they do. Everybody in sports, how we, I'm going to be nice here, fib about injury.
You want to talk about when
I help with the fibbing sometimes.
Me too.
When I know better. when I know for sure that shoulder is really more hurt than we're telling.
You want to talk about winning a first-round series, though.
He stayed today.
If you want to talk about winning a first-round series, though, with no center and 2 on-ball liabilities on defense, you're not going to win many playoff basketball games under those circumstances. And I'm not trying to give people an excuse before we even start there, but that is
it's tough.
It's a tough situation. There's not a lot of teams that you can match up with that you can win.
No. Well, Brett, you brought it up earlier in the show today. I mean, you just don't win playoff series because of your guard play. It's usually the big guys.
It's bump and grind time of the year. I don't think you win a title with guard play. You can win a series, but you got to have somebody late in that game when that building is really thumping that you can chunk it down low to, because the jump shots get hard.
Yeah, they do. I just don't know. I mean, talking about fibbing, there was a specific shooting guard on a college team that people said he might be back by postseason play this year. We have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Conte Kennedy, but there's no way he was coming back. So, I mean, we get the fibbing all the time, but I just don't know.
And on the other side of that, for the Tigers, I would have bet significant lunches against Alex Lomax ever returning. And he did. That was almost a medical miracle.
It really
that
was.
Injury.
One, it sounds like talking to Jason Munns, it was almost that there were some people that didn't want him to play as early as he did. And
you weren't going to keep him out. If it got down to 50-50, can you go? Well, yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, you're going. So it happens all the time, but I think it is with Steven Adams a little scary for the Grizzlies going into it. But you see,
who do you want in that first round as a 2 seed? Who's the ideal kind of easier, as air quotes here, easier fall to win gentleman's sweep 4-1?
I don't know if there's one for 4-1, but mine would be the Thunder.
That's probably what I would have to say.
But I still don't think it goes 4-1. I think you're best looking at 4-2. I wouldn't even say 4-2.
Did 4-2 make you nervous? We got nervous last year.
Sure did. How does it come?
No. My expectations for the Grizzlies are just so low in the playoffs, and I apologize for saying that to everybody listening, but I have no confidence in a team that has 2 guys that can't guard the basketball to win any series. I think any series you win, you have to count your blessings, because there's not many teams you can match up with where you would win any playoff series with that situation. As good as John Morant is, as good as Jaren Jackson Jr. is, possibly the Defensive Player of the Year, that specific drawback is not the makeup that wins playoff games. And so I would count your blessings for any win, 4-2, 4-3, don't matter how it
So
comes.
your 2 defenders, Dylan, and who else?
Desmond Bane has to be. And then you have to have Steven Adams on the court in order to be banging with 5s.
Yeah.
Xavier Tillman, God love him. Brandon Clark, God love him, cannot bang with 5s in the playoffs. And I think you see a perfect example of that in the team the Grizzlies just played, being Dwight Powell, who's 6'8". Dwight Powell would be the best backup center in the NBA. The problem is he starts at 6'8", and you can put Jaren out there against him to score 28 points because he's just bigger and taller than he is. You can put David Roddy out there because Dwight Powell at 6'8" is playing the 4, and David Roddy can just get physical with whoever else is undersized on that team. You got to have guys that can bang in the playoffs.
All right, well, your defensive theory here, who's the hardest team to guard that the Grizzlies could play in that 2-7-3-6? That they would have a real tough time chasing them around for 6 or 7 games. Because they had a tough time last year with Minnesota.
Take your pick. In terms of I mean,
well, then my scout's right. Then just take your pick.
I agree.
That's why he's a scout.
I told when you said that to me, Brett.
And they always have big notebooks. All those
sure
scouts.
do.
When you said that to me, my eyes got so big because I privately have believed that for a while. Kind of afraid to say it sometimes because I don't want to seem like I'm hating on the Grizzlies or anything.
And this guy's not Grizzly hater. He's there almost every night. Been there for years every night, and We've gotten to be pretty good
Just
buzz.
knows the game. Yeah.
I just don't see anybody they beat.
And I'm not even sure they could guard the Thunder necessarily. It's just that Thunder is so young with no playoff experience. They're starting they play two significant players in the post that are rookies. One of them starts. And so I think that's how you can win that series. But in terms of like just straight up matchups, I don't like the Grizzlies against any of these teams. You name it. The Clippers, the Warriors, the Mavs, God forbid, the Lakers, and a healthy Pelicans maybe. No, I don't like any of that.
Scared of the Pelicans?
Yeah, a healthy Pelicans. They were the
You
2
did say
seed.
healthy.
They were the 2 seed before they started getting hurt. I mean, they were a good team.
Let me ask you this, Jay. You talked about you think the Pelicans can still make the playoffs. Do you think it's an either or, Pelicans or Lakers, or do you think they could both make it?
Yeah, for a while I thought it was Thunder either or, Thunder or Lakers. I mean, all three ain't making it.
Right.
For a while I thought only one of the Lakers and Thunder could make it. I think maybe two could make it, and so that by that same logic, you can maybe pick two of the three of the Thunder, Lakers, and Pelicans.
I said it way back at 3:15 or so. Again, the Grizzlies. It's not going to be fire everybody, and it's not going to be trade everybody, and it's not going to come in here and freak out. I don't think I freaked out Monday or Tuesday even about the Tigers. I was just holding it to last year's standard. I think a lot of people, it hit particularly center cut on Monday and Tuesday because all year this year, and it was a good thing, there wasn't any criticism of the Tigers. There wasn't a lot to criticize with the Tigers. Then you get to this very favorable route, and I thought they missed a golden opportunity, and I stated it. I don't want to belabor it. I'm not trying to make anybody mad, but I'm going to do the same for the Grizzlies. They don't get out of that first round. They don't at least accomplish what they did last year. I think it needs to be questioned, needs to be examined.
You know what the shame of that is?
We're not cheerleaders.
You know what the shame of that is, though, is you know where that's going to go. It's going to go
Hater.
It's going to go. No, well, maybe, yeah. But I mean, if people support you in that, their criticism would most likely go to the head coach. Because they're not going to sit there and criticize. They're not going to criticize King Kleiman.
And that's the opposite of the Tigers. Not going to dare criticize the head coach.
That's true. But specifically in terms of the Grizzlies, I could get into this higher discussion. We don't need to do that. But specifically with the Grizzlies, I think it's so unwarranted to criticize the coach in that regard. Because I think what Zach Kleiman has done, great job, drafts good players, but he gets a lot of the credit for the things that Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff do, namely developing the players. You know, again, God bless what Zach Kleiman does, but he wears a suit and sits in an office. When the players get into the program, it's Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff that's developing them on the court.
And again, this is a lot more fun in the mode we were in 1 week ago. Looking when we were looking at FAU Purdue. That was the route. And then everything that happens early part of Friday night, everybody was thinking Garden.
Yeah.
And as Vince Farrar said, with the potential of Kentucky being there. I mean, it would have been a chance to go settle a lot of old scores.
It would have been.
Yep.
Certainly with Tennessee.
And I know I'm cross-pollinating, but
okay.
I'm talking about it in this writ large.
Yeah.
This is a lot more fun when everybody's towel waving and winning.
Oh, yeah.
But I said earlier, around sports, not just Memphis, not just the Tigers, not just the Grizzlies. I mentioned Ole Miss and Chris Beard. I'll say the same thing about Lane Kiffin. Pay a coach $9 million. I don't think that's to go to the Poulan Bowl. We get a little too satisfied with not a lot.
Right.
Ole Miss took a step back in football this year, and I said that.
You did.
But like you said, though, it's only good criticism, not from us, but in general, the loud majority, it has to be pointed in the right place.
Yeah.
And I guess we could quibble over what the right place is. A lot of people would point at the head coach. Heck, they're already pointing at the head coach, not pleased with the things Taylor Jenkins is doing, whether it be Jerry needs the ball more on offense, whatever it might be. I think if they sort of happened, if they were to lose in the first round or to only get to the same place they did last year, I think the finger needs to be pointed at what I was saying a minute ago. You're going to have to make a choice between your two quote-unquote franchise players. You cannot play these guys together. So you're going to have to make a choice between Ja Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr. And if Jaren Jackson Jr. wins Defensive Player of the Year and Ja Morant is one of the faces of the NBA, it's a hard decision you're going to have to make. And I can't see anybody making it because someone's going to get upset. But that's what you have to do. If your goal is really winning championships, that's the kind of thing you got to do.
This portion of our show brought to you by the great people at Jason's Deli, all the different locations, like over here real close to us on Ridgeway Road at Park Place, across from MUS, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. You can check them out online as well, always at jasonsdeli.com. Whether it's to dine in, to go, or delivery, it's wholesome food forever, a family thing with over 200 Memphis area associates there for you. And there for you means breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or that catering. And I talk about at the dinner hour. It is definitely that time. If you're getting ready to go downtown to FedEx Forum, there's a Jason's Deli really close to you. Have dinner there, then head downtown for a night with the Grizzlies. It's healthy. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. And it's all about choice at Jason's Deli, whether it's those salads, the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken club salad, the Big Chef salad, my favorite, the taco salad. If you seek a gluten-free menu, they got you covered. Vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from, and all those salads and that great salad bar. Over 30 items to choose from just on a salad bar prepared however you would like. All the meats, the cheeses, the breads, the spreads, and that great sweet tea. When I mentioned the soups, and it's still soup time for me, it's soup time for some year-round, the broccoli cheese, the chicken noodle, and my favorite, the Texas-style chili. That means no beans. Catering anytime, anywhere. And in these locations like Poplar and Highland, Ridgeway Road, Olive Branch, and Cordova, sample the complimentary free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Jay, I'm curious. You're talking about Ja and
Like a
Jaren.
cat. Curious
Cats are
like a
curious,
cat. That's
yeah.
right.
That's good.
But I'm curious because you were talking about Ja and Jaren being, struggling as on-ball defenders.
Poor.
What?
Poor.
Okay, poor. They're poor on-ball defenders. I know that's not something you can fix in a month before these playoffs start, but do you think that's something you can, in an off-season,
Can you
fix?
hide it in a month?
I don't think that's...
You can hide one. You can't hide two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're talking about picking one. Is there, at this point in their career, is there improving that to be able to be to the point where it needs to be?
I just don't see development. It's very rare to see on-ball defensive development like that. That hasn't taken place already. That's not the natural transition from another level to playing in the NBA. You just don't see guys get better. I don't think it's something necessarily intangible. I think size has a lot to do with it. Not necessarily height size, but like physicality size, like how much of a hit you're willing to take, or how much you can withstand. Because like a lot of times it just comes to going chest to chest with somebody. Someone puts their body into your chest. Do you hold your ground because you're stout? Like look at Desmond Bane and Dylan Brooks. Those are strong guards that if someone drives at them, gets physical on the first dribble, they can hold that ground and you're entitled to your space as a defender. So to answer your question, essentially, no, I don't think that's something developed over an off season or two off seasons for that matter.
Right.
Brian, who beats Denver in a 7-game series over 2 weeks at any point in the Western Conference playoffs?
In the Western Conference, I don't think there's anybody. Maybe the Warriors. I mean, they just have that kind of championship pedigree. If those guys get hot,
Last dance, mentality.
I mean, I think outside of that, it's hard. Maybe like the Suns if they can get healthy. But right now, I mean, it seems like the road is pretty clear for Denver.
But the Grizzlies, you give a little chance.
Yeah, with what Jay's been saying. Yeah.
Don't listen to me. I'm often wrong. I like the Suns too.
Yeah.
I want to throw the Suns in there and the Warriors. I trust a lot.
So if the Grizzlies stay in that 2 spot, probably the 7. Probably we'll see about the play-in. Then second round to advance past last year would be against the 3. If it's hard to pick out who you want at 7, who do you want at 3? Sacramento? I think that would be tough.
I agree.
Be tough.
A lot of people want to point to Sacramento as being like the Grizzlies because remember the Grizzlies won all those games. No one expected them.
They're the Grizzlies from 2 years ago.
But they're not. Harrison Barnes on the team. He's won an NBA championship. Yeah. Sabonis is a veteran at this point. De'Aaron Fox is a veteran at this point. Trey Lyles is a long journeyman at this point coming off the bench. Malik Monk has been in the league for a period of time now. These are not these like young
young and hungry.
Yeah, they're probably hungry. Half of it's probably true, but I just don't see them as this young, inexperienced team. I think I think
Barnes won it all with Dallas.
With the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
So I believe in their ability to win games in the playoffs.
So we do have some breaking news about tonight's game for the Grizzlies. It sounds like Ja Morant will come off the bench tonight, and Drew Hill is reporting that he'll play in the low 20s as far as minutes. That he says that the team wants to be smart given the lack of basketball he has played the last 2 weeks. So we'll see him off the bench, see him kind of playing.
Yeah. He'll go to the scorer's table and get a rousing ovation, and should. And I think people trying to be supportive.
Yeah.
Again, I think most people are really kind and obliging to the hometown team. And if you're in that building, there's a reason why you're there. You're kind of obliging to it. You kind of want it to do well. I don't think you're there at this point of the year just, first NBA game ever, huh? You're kind of a fan.
Yeah. Well, and I think with what they've done, what Tyus has done since Ja has been out has been great. I mean, he shows time and time again why they gave him so much money. But I think you feel way more comfortable being able to rely on that. I mean, I think if this is another backup point guard instead of Tyus, maybe you have different conversations about this, but having Tyus there helps this decision a lot. I think it is the smart decision.
I think we have. I'm pretty sure we have, and I listen to our station. I think our station that we've done it nationally. Time to move on from the Ja story, isn't it?
I think so.
Hadn't that been dissected enough?
Yeah, but it's very easy. I mean, it's a conversation starter. A lot of people are interested in it.
Well,
it gets a
some
lot
in the
of
national media
clicks.
really swung and missed on it.
Yeah, but I think it's time. I mean, move on. It's been 2-3 weeks now,
and locally, most of the freak out is what it could do. Both to him and to the franchise, and that's been settled down.
Yeah,
and as we said, it was his money, and it's his life.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, I think outside of when it first initially happened, and the question was, what does this mean for the Grizzlies going forward? That's when it was a big story. But now it's been 2 weeks. Everything's played out. He's about to be back on the court again.
National always comes back to it, though, don't they?
Always. Just because, I mean, like I said, he's one of the big stars, one of the big young stars in the game, so he's a very easy target when it comes to this.
Alabama can't imagine the PR operation they're going to have to take to Houston with them next week if they go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to have to be like the White House press room to go down there to defend everything. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. 662-890-7184. They are very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test-driven, all thoroughly examined, bumper to bumper, head to toe, with an unlimited inventory of every make and every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find that special car you want just for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in and you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment, the opposite of high-pressure sales tactics, very laid-back. But they care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience because they know we live in a world today where time really matters. The hustle and bustle, they keep it simple. You find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, you're gone in 45 minutes or less. You can do it right now and be at FedEx Forum tonight. Plenty of time to do it over your lunch hour at DeSoto Auto Sales. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and read all the testimonials. Look at all the beautiful cars, all the referrals, and they're sincere at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's get to a break. When we come back, Kevin Sweeney from College Basketball Central and Sports Illustrated will join us to talk about the first 2 rounds, the Sweet 16 that's coming up, and some of the coaching changes. That's next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Showboats are back in Memphis.
We can't wait to have you for the USFL.
Let's go. Ticket prices start at just $10 for their long-awaited homecoming season.
Way to the house.
April 15th starts a new era of pro football at the Liberty Bowl when the Showboats seek to reclaim their USFL legacy. Bring the whole family and don't miss the Showboats' historic return.
It's a touchdown.
Buy your tickets today at theusfl.com.
Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine now because people who have joint pain are getting real lasting relief without drugs or surgery. And I know firsthand because I'm a client. Hey, it's Greg Gaston and welcome to being pain-free. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting treatment. They use highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. If you have ongoing joint pain from arthritis or injury, you need to call QC Kinetics. Don't assume that steroids and surgery are your only option. Times have changed, and regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Discover this remarkable alternative that pro athletes have been using for years. Thanks to QC Kinetics, this amazing treatment option is now available for folks like you and me who are sick and tired of joint pain. Don't put this off any longer. Spring is coming, and you want to enjoy all life has to offer. Call QC Kinetics now at 901-445-1010. Get a free consultation with local medical professionals. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold P7866 988, MSRP 22,945. K5 PG 200 400, MSRP 26,455. Sportage PG 107,225, MSRP 29,790. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance 200. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey, Jeff Allen, you ready to give Memphis your best deals at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
That's what I always do, Randy. How about a 2023 Kia Soul LX, only $333 a month and $27.99 due at signing. Looking for luxury? 2023 Kia K5 LXS, $362 a month or $31.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Or how about the 2023 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive?
We got it at $381 per month, 36-month lease, and $34.99 due at signing.
And don't forget Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And Jeff, what if I don't see exactly what I want?
I'll order it for you, Randy, so whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
The tournament is heating up, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/win and sign up today to claim your no-sweat first bet. Then you can wager on everything from the point spreads to which team will be cutting down the net. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss your shot at a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/win to sign up with FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-899-9789.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and joining us now to talk about everything happening in the world of college basketball, which is a lot right now. Kevin Sweeney from College Basketball Central and Sports Illustrated. I believe we're talking to Kevin from Las Vegas as he's getting ready for the Sweet 16. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Are you in Las Vegas, and what has your day looked like today?
Yeah, I am in Vegas. Appreciate you guys having me.
We can wire money right now if you need it that badly.
Maybe by the end of the weekend.
You got it.
No, I've been here doing the press conference and stuff with the four teams out here in the West, which is a great quartet.
Sure
excited
is.
about it. I've been awake since, I guess, 1:30 a.m. Vegas time because I had a very early flight out of Chicago. So I'm running on fumes here.
Wow.
But can't complain. It's March, baby.
Thank you. And I think you're at the best foursome this weekend. I think that's the best remaining teams. Do you?
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously the talent level is awesome. The fan bases are awesome, right? Arkansas and UConn fans are crazy. They'll get here, and obviously Gonzaga and UCLA have a lot of history in Vegas, and so I expect they'll be here too. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
We've joked that the Arkansas UConn game may be one of those rare games both coaches are tossed in the first half.
I just want to see the celebration from whoever wins because that will be as entertaining as anything we get all weekend here.
Yeah, well, we're all Muss fans around here. We like to see him get his shirt off and whip it around after games. That sure is fun to watch. But Kevin, I know you're down in Las Vegas, but we've been talking a lot here locally about Tennessee. And this weekend they'll play Florida Atlantic tomorrow night in their Sweet 16 in the Garden. I know a lot of fans here in Memphis were hoping that Memphis would be in that spot to play Tennessee. A great game that would be. But how impressed have you been with what Tennessee's been able to do in some of these games, really kind of grinding them out, getting them into the 50s, really where you kind of think Tennessee would want to play?
I think sometimes when you have an injury like the Zakai Ziegler injury, it forces you to redefine who you are as a team. I think Tennessee needed that. I think Tennessee I think had gotten too reliant on the three. Now, that being said, like they shot it really well against Duke, and Kamala in particular made some huge shots that they don't always make. And there's going to be a game this weekend. This was how it was against Louisiana. They're going to have one game this weekend where they shoot it really poorly. And the question is, can they win there? But if you're Tennessee, you can't ask for anything more in terms of how the bracket has played out for you. To play a mid-major and then potentially an upstart like K-State or Michigan State team that's good but not great for a path to the Final Four. It's everything's really opened up for the Vols.
Yeah, almost dream style for them. And we were sitting here last week, never minding Purdue and FDU, and then that happens, and the route that it could have been for the Tigers. And were you surprised in how that game played out? I think we were all surprised with the sideline decorum and how that played out. A team that had no public drama all year just to unravel at the biggest moment of the year.
Are you talking Memphis or Purdue?
Memphis.
Yeah, I mean that was. I think we've seen that not just at Memphis. Like I don't want to throw anyone under the bus here because we saw Xavier have some pushing and shoving. Mm-hmm. We saw some a few other teams that dealt with it this weekend. I think at the end of the day, like the pressure of this setting is so great that especially when you have old teams, this is their last go around, and for a lot of these Memphis guys, that's what it is. I think there's just kind of this inevitable tensions boil over. And obviously, I think Penny could have handled things better. I know the thrown water bottle and stuff got a lot of play, but at the end of the day, I think if you aren't fired up and you aren't living and dying with every play in March, then you've got the wrong group. And I think I do think at least Memphis had the competitiveness needed to pull something off here that just came up a play short or two.
And Kevin, I sincerely, I think that is the first mention by any of us in this time on this station all week about the thrown water bottle. That didn't bother me at all. What did bother me is when he was trying to get them composed, I saw a couple of arms flail against him I don't have any time for that. At that point, when the coach talks, everybody else shut up and listen.
No doubt. And I think there is something to be said for these quote unquote players, coaches, the guys that people want to go play for. When you get into moments like this, you need to have, the utmost understanding of who's the boss and who's going to get things in line. And I'm not sure Memphis necessarily has always had that. And I think it's different, obviously, now when you have 23-year-olds than when he's coaching 19-year-olds. And I think they learned about that on the biggest stage this week.
Won the other game in Columbus that night being the big upset, Purdue and Fairleigh Dickinson, the second time we've seen a 16 over a 1, and then Tobin Anderson making the move to take over at Iona. I think somebody on this station, a guest yesterday or the day before, said that Tobin Anderson was kind of in the mix before Rick Pitino took that job at Iona. But how impressed were you? I mean, really a David versus Goliath type game with how short and small Fairleigh Dickinson is going up against the big Zach Edey.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the most stunning performance of all time in the NCAA tournament. And all the credit in the world to Tobin Anderson. He's actually a guy I've known for a few years now, which I promise I'm not blowing smoke on. I actually polled a couple of the other national writers, and I was like, had you heard of this guy when he got the Fairleigh Dickinson job last year? And a bunch of them said no, which I thought was really funny. But I was familiar with him just because I'm from, a couple hours from where he was killing it in Division II, and so I knew he was good. I just didn't know they would be this good, and I didn't know that Purdue would fold the way that they did. I think at the end of the day, they had a good game plan to put them in the game with maybe 10 minutes to go, and just hope that the pressure, really the game pressure of realizing you might lose this game, the hope was that would set in and break Purdue, and that's what happened.
To those games that you will attend tomorrow night between Arkansas and UConn, in the first one about 6:15 Memphis time for that one, and then Gonzaga and UCLA again butting heads, and these two coaches know each other very well. Just 2 years ago in that great national semifinal game, the buzzer beater for Gonzaga. This is one where adrenaline will carry the two winners tomorrow night into Saturday, and the ultimate pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the Final Four, everybody's ultimate destination in college basketball. But they're going to need adrenaline. It's the best drug the body naturally produces, because both of these teams that win tomorrow night will have very little left.
Yeah, it's going to be really physical. I mean, Arkansas, I think by design, needs to make this game very messy if they want to beat UConn, because when UConn shooters are getting clean looks, they're as difficult to beat as anyone in the country. And then obviously UCLA kind of in a similar boat. Not that Gonzaga isn't tough, but I think that UCLA kind of looks at this game and like, the way we win is by out toughing you, because we don't have Jalen Clark. We don't know what we'll have with Adam Boning, your starting center, right? Like, they're going to have to grimy it up, get physical, get tough, and hope that Jaquez and Campbell and those guys who've been in the wars before can make big plays. But that's a game that means a lot to obviously it's a Sweet 16 game. It should mean a lot, but I think Gonzaga UCLA means a lot to these two programs now because of the history over the years and wanting to get it back for 2021. I mean, even dating back to 06 when obviously the Morrison trying game. So
yeah, and it lives forever because it's a lot of emotion. You're this close to the ultimate prize. A lot of work's gone into this. I think the Arkansas-UConn game will be something in the 60s. I think Gonzaga-UCLA will be something in the 80s. Agree or disagree?
I think if it gets into the 80s, it's major advantage Gonzaga. I think UCLA wants this thing under 75. They may not keep Gonzaga under 70. That's not easy to do. But I just think tempo-wise, like, they can't allow this game to get too up and down, particularly just given the fact that they're running out of bodies here. I mean, they were not the deepest team in the world before they lost Jalen Clark. Now they are, I think, probably the least deep team left in the field.
Yeah. Kevin, with only two number one seeds remaining in the tournament, Houston and Alabama, but both of those teams kind of dealing with injuries. Brandon Miller going through a groin injury for Alabama, and then for Houston, both Marcus Sasser and Jamal Shedd, both with injuries. Do any of those injuries worry you with either of those teams?
Obviously, they worry me, but I think that on the opposite side of it, if there's teams that are prepared to deal with those, it's those two teams. And we saw it with Houston. They were bad for 60 minutes this tournament. The whole game against NKU and the first half against Auburn was not pretty. To be down in the second half against Auburn in essentially a road game and have both those guys injury and in foul trouble, and to come away because Tremont Mark was just dominant, speaks to how good this Houston team is. And I think you could say something similar with Alabama, right? Brandon Miller was very quiet. Didn't matter. They were able to roll because Javon Quinterly's starting to come along. Finally looks healthy after that ACL tear last year in the tournament. You have other guys, obviously, with Clowney and with Sears. Like they just have so many weapons. They have more ways to beat you. And so I think, to me, it's not a death knell if those guys aren't on. They need them to be available, but they can afford a 10-point game from Brandon Miller. I mean, look, Alabama in December beat Houston when Brandon Miller didn't make a field goal.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good indicator of what this team can be.
Ed Fertitta,
it's not great
on the road at Houston.
Yes.
Yeah.
Best win of the year by any team in the country.
I watched the whole game that day, and that's a lot of football watching time a year for me, Kevin. I watched the whole game and thought that was a masterpiece. And at that time of year, I remember how enthralled you were by UConn. They hit a lull, and now they're back right here on the verge of maybe having a great year. You'll get 2 games tomorrow. You'll get 1 Saturday. I assume you're going to Houston next week, so you'll get 2 on Saturday and the ultimate game on Monday night. Where will that take the odometer for you this year for games attended?
I haven't updated the counter in a week or two, so I don't know if I have all my games in, but I know I'm already over 45, so I will definitely wind up over 50. Nice. I think I'll wind up right around 60, which is where I was last year, and I'll take that. That's my goal. 60 in 3.5 months or so, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's pretty good, especially with all the travel. Bryant mentioned the 2 number ones. They both go Friday night. Houston playing Miami. Look out! Here's Jim Larinaga, really kind of just sneaking around, isn't he?
No doubt. Look, I think the perception of Miami is, they're small, they've got guards. They just physically dominated Indiana. They were the tougher team. Indiana, I think, this year has not actually been as tough as they seem, and Miami exposed that with Norchad Omier on the inside. There's no question Houston's really tough, right? So Miami's going to have to bring a similar performance just to stay level and that type of thing. But if you're Miami and you can hang even on the glass with Houston, then it's just, all right, whose guards are going to play better? And I think if you're Jim Larinaga, obviously you have respect for Sasser and Shed, but you're going to feel good about, all right, it's a toss-up between Isaiah Wong and Nigel Pack and Jordan Miller versus Tremont Mark and Jamal Shed and Mark Sasser. You'll take that.
Yeah. Well, it should be a fun weekend, Kevin. Enjoy your games that you'll be covering.
Go hit the buffet.
Las Vegas. Oh, yeah, a lot to do in Las Vegas. I know you'll keep busy, but thanks for joining us, and we'll do this again next week.
Never boring around here. Appreciate you guys.
You got it. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. Kevin Sweeney from College Basketball Central and Sports Illustrated. But let's go ahead and get our final break of the day. When we come back, it'll be time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com, click recipes, and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. the rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 5 Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I know you're thinking about pools and patios right now. Don't deny it, they're on your mind. So it's a good thing that Family Leisure is having their preseason patio and pool sale. It's like they're mind readers. You can buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. You want free layaway? Done. You want special financing? Done. You want to be ready to enjoy your backyard just as soon as spring hits? Family Leisure has you covered. Patio and pool season's not that far away. So now's the time to take advantage of this fantastic early bird pricing special. Now here comes the really special part. If you mention this commercial, you get half off delivery and installation. I'll let that sink in for a second. You heard me right, my friends. You mentioned this very commercial, and Family Leisure will give you half off delivery and installation. The preseason patio and pool sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hey, Sports 56 fans, it's me, Johnny Radio. Come join me for a live remote at Town Village Audubon Park, corner of Park and Cherry, this Friday from 11 to 1. Come hungry, enjoy complimentary barbecue and all the fixins, and 2 chances to win 2 rounds of golf and a cart at Wedgwood Golf Course. We have 2 $25 gift cards to Neil's Bar and Grill, where the fat man rocks. We also have plenty of Malco tickets to win, gift cards to the new Sunrise Cafe East Memphis. So this Friday, 11 to 1, come join me for a live remote at Town Village Audubon Park.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, I learned 2 things today, both involving college basketball. The first being that Micah Shrewsbury from Penn State has taken the head coaching job at Notre Dame. I mean, I talked Penn State more these past 2 months than I probably have ever talked Penn State.
That's a step up, isn't it? Is it lateral?
I think it's a step up. I mean,
Into the ACC,
the name of Notre Dame. I'm sure you can probably get more backing at a school like Notre Dame than you could at Penn State. So I'm excited of what he could...
2 ultimate football schools.
Very true. That is very true. So it'll be interesting to see what he can get done over at Notre Dame. The second thing I learned, Armando Bacot is returning for yet again another season of North Carolina basketball.
NIL's rolling.
Sure is for him.
I think that's great.
I think it's awesome.
I love what NIL's done.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not.
I'm not being sarcastic.
Good.
I really do like it.
Good.
I'm pro player. I'm glad they're getting it, and I think it's keeping players.
Now, here's the question, especially a guy like this who next season will have an opportunity to break the all-time rebounding career record. I don't know who has it right now.
I'm going to bet Hansbrough.
Probably. That would be something if it is Hansborough.
He played 4 years.
Yeah, to be another North Carolina guy. But will we have the same thing this year?
Oh, the all-time NCAA record.
Yes.
Okay.
No, not North Carolina.
Hansborough wouldn't have.
All-time NCAA. I don't know who it is, but he'll have a chance to break it next year.
He will. I learned this is the time for Rick Barnes. We talked about it with Vince Ferrara in New York. And very rarely in a Sweet 16 game do you get an easier path than they've gotten to get to the Elite Eight. Their second round has ended up really being their tougher game than first or third game on paper. When you maul Duke like that, and then all you have to do is beat FAU to get to the Elite Eight, then you better cash it in, or there's going to be another offseason of torment for him.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be unjust.
I don't think so either.
Tom Gola of LaSalle grabbed 2,200 rebounds.
MOP of the Final Four 1 year as well for Tom Gola.
Wow. What year was that?
54?
That's what it looks like, 54, 55.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that would be another big record we could see.
That's a big check off on the bingo card, a Tom Gola reference.
Didn't see that one coming. What I could have done without, bad news for J. Morgan Harder, the XFL TV viewership is dropping.
Oh, no.
It is week
It's
one.
not your fault, though, is it?
It's not, because he's been waving the flag.
Trying to, at least.
Yeah, but we're USFL guys here.
No.
Week one, the viewership average was 1.3 million. They had it across several different networks, ABC, ESPN, FX, and ESPN Plus. Week 5, which was last week, 267,000.
Had a busy weekend to go up against a lot.
It was.
Sure did, but I mean, that's the equivalent of the cat hitting the remote control.
Yeah, but I mean, even take away
R.J. Morgan.
Yeah,
that's right.
The remote control.
Hey, just wait till they get on their own with baseball. You can see it rise a little bit.
Right.
And it shows that everybody gives these leagues the first week look. AAF had good numbers a few years ago, first week on TV, not live attendance, certainly not in Memphis.
But here's your week 1 to week 2, 1.3 million week 1, week 2, 659,000.
Half didn't like it.
Yeah.
They said no. I could have done without Mel Kiper with his NFL draft. He's got C.J. Stroud 1, Bryce Young 2, and Will Levis 3. I'm not going to quibble too much without love Mel, and I'm no draft expert, but I saw all 3 of those players in person last year, all 3 in really big games, a lot of pressure-packed games. Nobody handled it better than when I saw him in person than Bryce Young. He was in control late. He was the difference in the game that I saw last year. I don't know if you're going too wrong with Stroud or Young, 1 or 2, but Will Levis is that big body guy, and you know who you get compared to when you're the big body guy.
Who?
Big Ben.
That's
The
right.
next Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Big body and a big arm. Will Levis.
I was going to say Paxton Lynch.
Ooh.
That's a big body.
And a big arm.
And a big arm.
Just didn't pan out right. Well, maybe some of these teams will be interested in Cam Newton after his pro day yesterday.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
Sounded like he didn't do too hot in his pro day down at Auburn. But what I'm keeping an eye on tonight, a lot of NBA basketball. Rockets and Grizzlies tonight on ESPN. You got 2 games, Warriors, Mavericks, and then late tonight, Suns, Lakers.
We do have a lot in the NBA. We'll keep an eye on all the pro day breakdowns. We know we'll get that as April 27th gets closer for the NFL draft. Denver on the road in D.C. against the Wizards, Golden State at Dallas, Atlanta at Minnesota, and late Phoenix at the Lakers and the Grizzlies at FedEx Forum. And can whittle down that magic number a little more against everyone.
Yeah, and keep on with that win streak. It could be a fun night at the Forum. So we'll see what they can do tonight against the Rockets. But that's all the time we have this afternoon. Enjoy your night. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 for another edition of Sports Time.